Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land. I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Late evening U.S. people. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. You know what? I didn't get to the button fast enough, but I want to hear it anyway, so here it is.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
It just wouldn't be a trial stream without that, would it? You got to get your daily dose of the mens rea. So, there we go. Now, as we begin the very, very end of day 4 and the beginning of day 5 of the LEILANI Simon murder trial, we just have to give her our warm welcomes.
Into the mud, scum queen.
All right. Now that we got that all out of the system, we are here. And I've never said this before. I've never done this before. But anybody that is just coming in to play catch up because you missed yesterday, I would recommend that you not watch today. Go back to yesterday and start watching at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. I know it sounds insane, but it's what happened yesterday is probably going to be way funnier than what happens today. We will almost guaranteed never have another day like we had yesterday with the testimony. It was a little bit off the hook. It was a little bit extra. So there's going to be some serious spoiler alerts of what happened yesterday. Can you have spoiler alerts about what happened yesterday? I guess you can, yeah. So this is we're going to rehash what happened yesterday before we dive into what happened today. But before we do that, I just want to again welcome everybody here. We're all glad that you are here. Currently, we've got 112 of you and 60 likes. Come on, peeps, get in there. We're just getting warmed up. We'll get a lot more people here. So be one of the first ones. Make so you are one of the first people to say, hey, I hit that like button before anybody else did. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you have, as always, please do me that favor of double checking and making sure that you are still subscribed. That would make everything so much easier for everybody involved. Well, by that, I mean me. And as required, we are here to tell you that right now. And I keep saying we. It's like the royal we. We are here to tell you. Every time I say we, just think I. I'm here to tell you that today is, in fact, day 59 of the emotional support potato pig dog cam streak. We have kept that streak alive for 59 days. Will today be day number 60? We're closing in on 100. Will we be able to get to 100 days? Well, only time is going to tell us about that. But right now we're on day 59. If we get to day 60, it'll be all 100% up to you. We unlock it at the 100 mark. Gifted memberships, purchase memberships, super chats, whatever. At the 100 mark, we unlock the emotional support potato pig dogs. No pressure, no hype, just an option for you. They're both here. They had an exhausting day at the office with me, so they're already snoring. Guarantee there will be no strawberry yelping, or they're out like two big, fat, squishy, spongy potato lights. All right. And let's see. We've got our like and subscribe poll today. Again, this is just calling back to yesterday, which, honest to God, was an epic, epic day in court. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, then take the poll. Our like and subscribe poll today, which is just designed to remind you to do those YouTubey things, is: I wasn't expecting a witness to testify to that. And your four choices for that are: one kid had crap all up in his hair. The dog is a total R word. The FBI didn't buy pizza at the end of 17 hours of questioning like they promised. So dude is still mad 2 years later. He's mad at the FBI for 2 years because they didn't buy him pizza. Or a former friend of the defendant said that she conducted a seance with a holy Bible and a candle and spoke with the ghost of the murdered baby who said, "Mommy hurt me." Vote for any one of those four that you did not expect a witness to testify to yesterday. As you can see, there clearly is no wrong answer. Yeah. It was a day. All right. We're about ready to get ready to do something. That's the status of my show always. We're about ready to get ready to do something. Wow, my camera is really zoomed out today. When did that happen? I'll have to fix that. Matilda, I knew you'd be here. Matilda, it's just like the sun coming up in the east. I just know. Matilda starting us all the way out with a €2. Good afternoon, 2 p.m. I forgot time zones yesterday. Thank you for reminding me. Good afternoon, 2 p.m. from the Netherlands. Good evening at 10:14 p.m. from Korea. Ooh la la, Pat, from a little bit south of the Netherlands in France, all the way from Paris for the 60 Doggo Cam Day, throwing the €15. We are on our way. And Stringer Bell, we should bring this up. Ooh la la, Pat, there we go, for the 60 Doggo Cam Day. And Stringer Bell gifted the One Legal Vices membership, and it went to Daniel Handy. Daniel Handy, you were gifted a membership by Stringer Bell. Make sure you give him a super, super special happy thank you if you haven't already. Okay, that takes care of this little run up here. We're 25% of the way there almost. Yeah, I guess we are 25% of the way. We're 25% of the way to Doggo Cam already. I'm trying to think. I guess that's it. We've done everything we need to do. It's Friday night here, so we can be a little more loose, have a little bit more time to do things, be a little more chill than we might otherwise be. Now, the one thing the guy did, the brother, Paul Simon, he started talking about, my sister wanted me to go pick up them Rillas. And the lawyer's like, them what? The Rillas. The what? The cigarillas. And that really got me wanting some cigarillas. So I opened a package of one of my cigarillas. I mean, I'm guessing these are a little higher quality than what they were getting. I would assume they were getting like, convenience store cigars. These are Oliva. Oliva is one of my favorite brands of cigars, by the way. These are the Oliva Señoritas 10. They're not really cigarillos. They're a little too large, but they're one of the smallest actual cigars you can buy. So that's what we'll be getting into first tonight. The Rilla, the Oliva Señoritas Rilla. Yeah. And we have a rusty nail poured to get us started for the evening. A rusty nail is Scotch and Drambuie, and there's really only one way I can see to make a real good rusty nail. Drambuie comes from the Isle of Skye, and there's only one Scotch that's made on the Isle of Skye, which is Talisker. Talisker is made on the Isle of Skye, so I figure if you're gonna make a rusty nail, use the ingredients from the Isle of Skye. So you have Drambuie from Isle of Skye and Scotch from Isle of Skye. About 45 milliliters of Scotch, about 25 milliliters of Drambuie, and you have yourself a smoky rusty nail that is mwah, and that's what we're going to be sampling this evening. And before we jump into it, Island with a $5. Good morning. I like to keep the pizza crisis talking to ghost energy if we could. It's less sad. Yes. Well, especially seeing how the murdered child apparently helped us solve it by saying, "Mommy hurt me," and flashing images of what happened to the Christian clairvoyant who was conducting a seance with a candle and a holy Bible, and even offered to do so. She offered to summon the ghost of the baby in court if they would just give her a Bible and a candle. It's less sad. Please let future witnesses know. Thanks. All righty then. That's it. That's all we got. So let's jump into this, shall we? Day 4. This is the very, very end of day 4. It's going to be witness testimony from the babysitter. So that might not be so great. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm just laughing because I'm still remembering yesterday. We're good to go. So let's bring it up. Add to the stage. There you go. And let's see. I guess we'll start as soon as I can find the window. Where'd the window go? There we are.
Please bring in Miss Simon.
Yeah, we've seen what ghosts in the courtroom are like. Ghostbusters too. That is true.
It's a little warm.
It's a little warm. You'd know Judge Dionne Warwick. Oh, there you go. J.K.D. Buck. Great minds think alike.
We're back on the record for SPCR 22-03364J6, the state of Georgia versus LEILANI Marie Simon. Let the record reflect that Ms. Simon is present at counsel's table with her attorneys. The state's attorneys are present as well as Detective Lemons. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The state may call its next witness. Let's bring in the jurors. I hear you.
That's the second time she's got almost started testimony without bringing the jury in. She did that twice yesterday. Judge, you got to bring the jury in. They're kind of the important part. I know you're a little bit frazzled after the last witness. I get it. But you still need the jury.
Please have a seat. And welcome back after your break. Did you have any discussions with anyone about the case? Did anyone do any research? Okay. All right. So let's begin. The state may call its next witness.
Who? What's your name? Oh, what do you know? The seance part was the most viewed portion of the stream yesterday. Kalia Makarta. So there's no video of the witness on this because apparently there's a minor involved.
Step this way, ma'am. Face the clerk and raise your right hand.
And as we begin, this is the point at which we want the cameras diverted from from the witness's face, from Ms. Makarta's face.
The evidence you take of the court and jury and the trial of this issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Step this way, ma'am.
Wait, what happened?
The whole truth.
The cameras diverted from.
Oh, the
Ms.
witness is a
from the
minor, so the
witness's face, from
babysitter
Ms.
isn't an
Makarta's face.
adult yet. Got it.
The evidence you take of the court and jury and the trial of this issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Step this way, ma'am.
Good afternoon. And before we begin, are we good on camera angle?
Yes, after when she was being sworn in, we didn't know that that was the witness that was sensitive, so we'll have to tell everybody not to use that footage.
All right, thank you, Grace. All right. All right, Mr. Dean.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury here?
Hi, I'm Talia Makarta.
And how do you spell your first name
Talea
and your last name?
MCCARTA,
Where do you live? What city and state? Not the address.
Savannah, Georgia.
Do you live on Buckhalter Road?
Yes, sir.
And
Great.
did your
Don't tell us your
family used to
address. We'll
provide,
just, you know.
babysitting services for the defendant's 3 children?
Yes, sir.
Have I asked you how old you are yet? I'm sorry, I'm tired.
No, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
Are you in school?
Yes, sir.
Where are you in school?
Homeschool.
Okay. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 10th. Sorry, I'm nervous.
Okay. That's all right. If you need a break at any point, just let me know. Okay.
Sir.
I understand you're starting a new job tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to be working?
Larry's Giant Subs.
Is that your first big girl job, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you know Quentin Simon?
Yes, sir.
How did you come to know him?
Through my mom and them and Miss Sandra.
And tell us about, well, who's Miss Sandra, first of all?
Miss Sandra is Tommy, Billy Joe's husband's sister.
Okay.
What?
And how do you, when you say
Billy
you know through Miss
Joe's
Sandra, what do you mean by
husband's
that?
sister.
Miss Sandra went to church with us, and she just came up to my mom and sister and asked if my sister could babysit them.
Okay. And is that how the babysitting stuff started?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the beginning of that. How did it play out?
Miss Sandra had came and knocked on the door and asked if my mom could babysit some kids, and my mom said, well, I'll be working, but I can ask my daughter. And my sister said yes.
And what's your sister's name?
Maritza Makarta.
Is she older or younger than you?
She's older than me,
How old is she now?
like 19 years old.
Okay. So going forward from that, did you all start babysitting the kids?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And between the two of you, you and your other sister, did one or the other have responsibility for one or the other kids? It's kind of a confusing question. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. My sister really had most of the responsibility, but I would be there to play with Quentin and stuff and Zane.
Were you and your sister, were you or her closer to Quentin than the other?
It was both of us. Yes, sir. We really loved both of us.
Tell us about spending time with Quentin. Where would you spend time with him?
Throughout the whole house, Quentin, he would open the door, like when it was cracked, he would push it open with his hand. And he'll come in there and he'll love on you.
What door are we talking about here?
The bedroom door.
In your house?
Yes, sir.
And what do you mean by he come in and love on you?
Like, he'll run to you, open his arms, and just throw himself on you and give you a kiss on the cheek.
Did you like spending time with Quentin?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Now, was there ever a time where you spent time around Quentin and LEILANI together?
Yes, sir.
And during those times, did you ever see her treat him in a way that upset you?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about any of those times?
With the console, like the PlayStation remote control, when she said that Quentin had got a hold of it, and it was the night before, and I guess she still got mad talking about it, so she pushed him down.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's break it
great.
down a little bit. Where were you when this push happened?
She was by the tiki bar, and I was by closer towards the pool where the little step is.
Okay. So whose house were you at?
Billy Joe's.
Okay. You're out back between the tiki bar area and the pool.
Yes, sir.
And what was it that caused LEILANI to push Quentin?
She got mad because he had supposedly broken the controller to her PS4.
Okay. And how did this come up?
When I walked up, I asked her if I could get Quentin, and she said, yes, please take him. And then she just let off the conversation because he got a hold. pretty sure she said it was her brother, controller, and he was going to be mad at her.
And what time of day was this?
I'm gonna say around 2.
In the afternoon, I presume?
Yes, sir.
You said you came up. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from my mom's house.
And where was Leilani?
Leilani was outside.
Okay. In the back there?
Yes, sir.
And where was Quentin?
Quentin was inside.
Okay. And you said you were coming over to see if you could get Quentin.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by that?
I know the night before her and Danny was arguing or something.
No
and she had
spoilers,
called my phone
please.
to see
If
I could
I'm gonna
come
get
him,
mad,
and
let
it
me
was
get
like
mad
around 4 in the morning,
organically.
And I told her I wasn't allowed at the house that late, and I didn't want to wake my mom up. She had work the next morning, but I would be over there the next day to grab him for my sister.
Did you say she called you or she texted you? I didn't catch that.
She called me.
Okay. She called you at like 4 in the morning and asked you to come take Quentin?
Yes, sir.
And why did she want you to do that?
She was getting aggravated with him.
Okay. So it's the next day that you went over to get him?
Yes, sir.
And what were you going to do with him?
I was gonna grab him and take him over to our house.
All right. And is that something that you would do from time to time? Come and get him and just take him?
Every day.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was he like your buddy?
Sir.
Was he like your buddy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you come up, you said Quentin's inside and Leilani is out back by the pool, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were there to get Quentin.
Yes, sir.
And at some point she pushed him.
Yes, sir.
At what point did he go from being inside to outside?
He had walked up to the door. You could see through it. So he had walked up and put his hands and his mouth against the door, and he was happy.
Aw.
And she opened the door. She put the door handle and she pushed it open, and she was continuing telling me the story. And Quentin started saying bubbles. He wanted bubbles. And she pushed him, took her hand and pushed the middle of his chest and pushed him.
And what was the bubbles thing about? You said he wanted bubbles?
He loved bubbles.
Okay. Are you talking about like soap bubbles that you blow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When she pushed him, what did she use to push him with first?
Her hand.
And where did she put her hand on his body?
Right here. In the middle.
And at that point, her hand's on his chest, and what did she do?
She pushes him.
And what happened to him when she pushed him?
He falls on his butt.
And what did he do?
He looked at me and held his arms out and started crying. And I told Leilani that upsetted me.
And what did you do it? You okay?
Everybody loved this baby except for the baby's mother. How horrifically sad is that? Everybody has shown emotion for this baby except her.
What part of his body hit? Did he fall on the ground, I guess?
Yes, sir. His tush hit the floor.
Okay. And said he started crying and reached out his arms to you.
Yes, sir.
Did you pick him up?
Yes, sir.
And did you say anything to Leilani?
I told her that wasn't necessary because it happened last night, but she should have talked to him first.
And what happened from there?
I took him. I walked him home with me. I don't know what she did after.
So you talked about that one push. Was there anything else that you remember that was like that?
The pool incident.
What's the pool incident?
It was me and my sister, and I believe 2 of my nephews with me over at her pool swimming. And Zane had got in the pool, and Quentin wanted in there. And I was fixing to go grab Quentin to put him in there. But instead of her listening to me tell her, hold on, let me get his floaty on, she just full on pushed him in the pool.
Pushed him with what?
Her hand.
And where on his body did she make contact with him?
The back.
Like middle of the back, upper back, lower back?
The middle. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And she just pushed him in the pool?
Yes, sir.
And he didn't have any floaties on, it sounds like?
No, sir.
Okay. Was he able to swim at this point?
No, sir.
Of course
What
not.
happened once he was pushed into the pool?
He went underwater. And when he came back out, he caught his breath, trying to catch his breath, and then he started crying.
Was he coughing or anything?
Yes, sir.
And how did Leilani react to that?
She said she really didn't care because if Zane could learn how to swim, then Quentin needed to be as smart as Zane.
Now, what did you do when Quentin
Damn.
came out and was coughing and crying?
I looked at my sister and I told her I'm going home. And then that's when I asked Leilani, I said, can I take Quentin home? She said, yes, I don't care.
And how were you feeling at that point?
I was mad because wondering in my head how she could push him in the pool knowing without any floaties and knowing he can't swim at all.
Into that algae covered
How
shithole
was
of a
Quentin
pool.
as you were walking home with him? Did you dry him off or anything first? Or?
I did dry him off. I wrapped him in a towel and he laid his head on my shoulder.
And what happened when you got home?
When I got home, I had put a pull-up on him and he went and laid on the couch with his teddy bear.
And did you lay on the couch with him or did you just leave him alone or what?
I went to go fix him some juice and then I laid on the couch with him.
How long did y'all lay there?
About 2 hours because he had fell asleep. Yes, sir.
Did you take a nap there with him?
No, sir, because I was afraid I was going to squish him if I fell asleep with him.
Oh no.
Anything else you remember that was like those two things?
Other than her getting mad at him with the stairs and stuff.
Tell me about that.
It was one night when I went over there and she was smoking. She had went upstairs and she was talking to me about Quentin's father. And she said she don't know how Quentin could look so much like his dad when she's the one that gave birth to him. And I said, well, I don't know, because I didn't want to really get into that kind of stuff. It wasn't my problem. And she just kept going on about it. And Quentin was down the stairs. And I said, Leilani, he needs help down the stairs because I had Sky in my hands. And she said, he's a big boy, he can do it. I said, no, he can't, because her stairs in Billy Joe's house was kind of weird. And I said, he needs help. She said, no, he doesn't. And Quentin just continues to roll.
Are you talking about the stairs to the second floor?
Yes, sir.
You said Quentin continues to roll. What do you mean?
When he tripped on the first one and he starts rolling down. And I hand her Sky and I grab Quentin.
How was Quentin when you picked him up?
He was fine. He really didn't cry.
Okay. Anything else you remember that was like that?
No, sir.
You mentioned that incident started with her asking or wondering how he could look so much like his father. What was her tone of voice like when she was saying that? I mean, she sounded happy, angry, sad?
She sounded angry.
Do you remember if you seem like a pretty mild-mannered person?
Yes, sir.
But if I asked you to tell me what it sounded like when she said it, would you be able to do that or not?
Yes, sir. You want the whole, just how she said it?
Yeah.
When I walked in, she was like, hey, I got a question. I said, yes. And she said, how the F could Quentin look just like his daddy? I'm the one that gave birth to him. And I said, I don't know, Leilani. I really don't know. She said, Zane's been my number one since he was born, and Quentin's just sitting there and useless.
Anything
Wow.
No, sir.
That kind of dovetails
You
with the way
remember
she was shit talking Quentin to
last
the
week about an incident where,
clairvoyant Christian.
Leilani hit Quentin in the face. I think backhanded was the word you used.
Yes, sir.
You remember telling us about that?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about that now?
From the beginning, Craig.
Yeah.
Zane and Quentin was out in the street. I was walking to the shed because that's where our laundry room that is.
Were you at your house at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said you have a laundry room in the shed.
Yes, sir.
So what were you walking out to the shed to do?
Do my chores, which was transfer the clothes from the washer into the dryer.
And at what point did you see Zane and Quentin?
When I was going towards the shed.
And what were they doing?
They were by the mailboxes on the other side of the road, going inside the ditch.
Okay. Were they in the road or next to the road or what?
They were in the road.
Okay. And were there any adults with them?
No, sir.
What time of day was this?
It was a little bit in the morning. I'm gonna say around 11 or 12.
Okay. And when you saw them out there, what did you do?
I ran
Ran where?
to get Quentin and Zane.
And what happened next?
As I was going to get them, there was a white car passing with a lady inside of it.
I'm sorry to stop you. I don't mean to interrupt you because you asked from the beginning and I did say yes, right?
Yes, sir.
But I don't want you to tell us anything about what anybody said to you other than things that the defendant said to you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's skip the white car part, all right? So after the white car drove by, what happened next?
I took the kids back to my mom's house. My mom told me to take them to Leilani's. So,
Don't testify about anything anybody else said.
yes, sir.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Okay, so you went back to your house and you said at some point did you take them back to Leilani's house?
Yes, sir.
And why did you do that?
My mom told me to.
Okay. And where did you take them when you took them back?
I took them when I entered. It was behind where the pool part is, the
Okay.
back.
So you walked around the back
Yes, sir.
and you had both of the kids with you at this point?
Yes, sir.
What happened from there?
I kept knocking on the door. Leilani would not answer, and I kept banging and banging. I just continued to bang until she answered. She came outside, and I said, Leilani, Quentin and them was on the road, and she was asleep. And instead of her taking the knowledge of what she had done and wasn't awake with them, she just backhanded Quentin in the face.
Can you describe that in a little more detail? What did it look like?
She raised her hand all the way back, and she just backhanded him. When she did, his head hit the concrete.
Where on his face did her hand hit him?
Right here.
And you're gesturing. I gotta say this for the court reporter and the transcript and all that. You're gesturing towards like your cheekbone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that this
Yeah.
knocked him down.
Yes, sir.
Oh, she goes to hell.
Yes, sir.
And when he fell down, what happened?
I looked at her, and then he started crying. He got up when I lifted him up. He got up and he ran to me and he started pointing to my mom's house.
Did you say that his head hit the concrete out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he ran to you, and you said he started pointing?
Yes, sir. Pointing directions to my mom's house.
Were you holding him at that point, or was he still on the ground, or what?
I think it was after a minute I did pick him up. Yes, sir.
Okay. And his pointing towards your house, what did you take that to mean?
I knew he wanted to go with me, but Leilani wanted them to stay.
Ugh.
Okay. Did you take him home?
I believe I took Quentin home because she didn't want me taking Zane home.
Were there any other incidents you remember that involved the defendant, Leilani, pushing him, hitting him, or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. Was there anything that you heard, other than what you've already mentioned, and you've talked about some of this stuff, was there anything that you ever heard her say that caused you to believe that she didn't like Quentin or didn't feel the same way about him that she felt about Zane?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about those things, that if the ones that you haven't mentioned yet?
Yes, sir. She would call me over there and ask if she could talk to me. And I would go over there and she would just complain about Quentin, how Quentin wasn't like Zane. He wasn't smart like Zane. And that the only reason that she loved Zane and she didn't love Quentin is because Zane's been through everything with her and Quentin hasn't been through nothing.
Did she ever point blank tell you anything about whether she had any feelings of love or affection towards Quentin at all?
Yes, sir. She told me she did not love him at all.
She said that.
Well, hell. What a horrible, just horrible, witchy person. And it's not just one person saying that she mistreated Quentin, that she didn't like Quentin, that she ignored him, that she wished she'd aborted him. There's been, 3 witnesses so far, I believe, that have said this. So this is something that other people have heard. For some reason, it seems she just had it out for Quentin. What? Oh.
You are not a nice person.
Oh, I got no words. We'll just keep going. I literally have no words for that.
Yes, sir.
Where was that when she said that?
We was on the back porch. He was in on the back porch. There's like a play area with a gate.
Is that with the brown couch in it and slide and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who was, you were out there? Was Quentin out there?
I was in the play thing with Quentin and she was by the tiki bar.
Okay. How did that come up, that she's saying that about Quentin at that time?
She was mad at Danny.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And how did it get on to Quentin and saying that about Quentin?
Because Quentin was making noises with his mouth and saying he was calling out for Danny. He kept saying, Danny, Danny. And she kept getting mad about that.
She was mad at Danny at the time?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
she's mad that the baby's calling for the boyfriend
Yes,
and not
And that's
her.
what led up to her saying that thing about Quentin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did Quentin ever stay the night at your house?
Oh, yes, sir.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. We would have Quentin for weeks at a time at our house. She never called to check on Quentin. But we never complained about it because we really enjoyed Quentin being at our house, being able to love on him. And
She loved that little boy. Unlike
Sorry.
the mother.
You miss him?
yes, sir.
Think you're ready to be done with this now?
It doesn't matter. I'm fine.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Were there times where Quentin would sleep?
What
over
a
at your
sensitive
house with the other
prosecutor,
kids
too.
would-
Yes, sir.
How did that come about? How did that happen?
When Leilani would say she's coming to pick up the kids, she would be like, oh, I'm coming, or Danny's coming to pick up the kids. Quentin would never want to go when it was her. So she was like, he could just stay here. It's fine.
How was Danny with Quentin and the kids?
Danny loved the kids a lot. He was good with them. He treated them how they were supposed to be treated.
If only their
No
mother
further
did.
questions, John.
Em, the last time you were asked to talk about these incidents with us,
Dude, Dude, I'm just going to warn you to be damn careful right now. So I don't jump into a freaking time machine, crawl through this monitor, and whoop your ass, defense lawyer. You better damn well be careful with your cross-examination of this woman, this little girl. If he goes all aggro on her, I'll write a letter. This guy makes me nervous. I don't think he knows how to behave around children.
You noted that these incidents happened in May, June, and July of 2022. Is that correct?
I didn't say. I said I didn't know the exact months.
Okay. Well, the different incidents we've talked about.
Yes, sir.
All the incidents that you named. Can you tell me when they happened?
No, sir, I cannot.
Okay. And when you saw them happen, the things that you've described here in court, did you call anybody like the police?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you call anybody like DFAX to report Leilani?
No, sir, I did not.
She was a 14, 15-year-old
The
girl.
PlayStation controller push you described. He fell back on his bottom.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you see any kind of a bruise or a mark or a cut or anything on Quentin as a result of the push you say you saw?
Not at the time, no, sir.
Is he? So if it didn't leave a mark, it didn't happen. Dude, this is 2024, not 1824. Dude, you didn't see a mark, did you? And the push that you say you saw happen.
And the pool incident, obviously that was in the warmer months, but you can't say when that happened either, can you?
I know it was in summer sometime, but I don't know the exact month.
Okay. And in Savannah, summer can be a pretty long time.
Yes, sir.
Same question as before. Did you call the police about it or DFAX or any authority to report Leilani Simon?
No, sir, I did not.
The stairs incident, I think he went down the stairs and you got to him, but he didn't cry, did he?
Not for long. He didn't really let out a long one.
And you didn't see any marks or injuries or bruises?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, what kind?
It was a bruise on right here by his head.
Okay. Now the roadway incident.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As I understand it, you were at your house and you saw the boys out there near the road.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you went there. Actually, you ran to them, did you not?
Yes, sir, I did.
Because you recognize kids in a roadway with cars going by can be a very dangerous situation, can't it?
Yes, sir.
And it can be very upsetting.
Yes, sir.
And you knocked on the door, but couldn't get an answer right.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea how Zane and Quentin then got out of the house on their own?
Zane knew how to open doors.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And right now, in recounting these different incidents, you can't give an exact date about when they happened, can you?
Shut up, dickhead.
No, sir, I cannot.
And we've already established you didn't call the police about it, call any authority or any DFAX to report what happened.
No, sir, I did not.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dean, can you rewrite?
Yeah, just go. Were you
When,
15?
When these things would happen, was there anybody you tell?
I would tell my mom.
No further questions.
Ms. McCarter, your excuse.
Thank you.
So there you go. Dick-headed defense lawyer. I really dislike that guy. Both of them are kind of icky.
Mr. Dean, you may call your next witness. Is this the witness that's expected to take some time?
Yes, ma'am.
On second thought, maybe we'll take a stop. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to excuse you for the evening. We're going to reconvene tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m.
All right, that should be the end of day 4. Should be. Yep. All right. Let's get into day 5. Bring up day 5 screen. Same deal, 1.25 speed. And it's Friday night here in Korea. So we got some time to kill. And imbigonate that thing. Make sure we're 1.25 speed. We are at 1.25 speed. And as long as we're stopped here at the 41-minute mark, that's just a quick little reminder that we currently have 267 viewers and 154 likes. 111 of you at least need to get down there and smash that like button like it's LEILANI Simon's grill. We are sitting at what, 20, about 70 away from emotional support potato pig dog cam unlocking. So we're a little over 1/4 of the way, nearing on the 1/3 mark. So keep that in mind if you want to, it's up to you. All right. Let's move along with our day, shall we? We are now moving into day 5. Make sure we've got everything. Adara, the wholesome of the $2, says, no way they called that baby a ghost as a witness. No. They called the babysitter of the baby ghost. Yesterday was so damn weird. I wish can we go back and just watch yesterday? It was much more entertaining than today. David Nelson says we still need doggos. We're getting there. All right, let's go on to day 5.
Detective Marion Lemons. Ms. Simons is seated with her attorneys, Martin Hilliard and Robert Purse. All right. And so is there anything that we need to take up before bringing in the jury?
There is one minor issue, Your Honor. After we recessed yesterday, I was advised by somebody, I forget whom, that the defendant could be observed mouthing some words during the testimony of our last witness yesterday, Talia McCarta.
Oh.
I went back and looked at the court TV footage from that testimony, and it did appear to me that at some point during that testimony, while Talia was relating one of the vignettes that she shared with the court, that the defendant did mouth quite noticeably, that's a fucking lie, or you're a fucking liar, or something to that effect. And she's furrowing her brow and acting like she didn't do that, but it's caught on video that she did. The court can go back and see it. She's still doing that. Doesn't make it not true.
Wow, I missed that. Did any of you catch that? I did not. I didn't catch her doing that. I didn't see her mouthing anything myself. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. If you're gonna do shit like that, you got to realize there are in cases of these trials tens of thousands of people watching you. Somebody is gonna catch it. A lot of you are saying you saw it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, and I didn't see any of you say anything about it. You didn't tell anybody, did you? It didn't happen. You didn't tell anybody. That's the defense lawyer's logic. Wow. So yeah. And he said, I did not. He said, go ahead, furrow your brow, bitch. We got it on tape. When she did, she directed. Who did she direct it at? Was she talking to her lawyer or the witness? Well, it depends what she said. The fact was she was mouthing something. Huh. I didn't see it. Some people mentioned it in chat. Okay, I figured the lawyer would notice. Well, the lawyer's not looking at her. You know, the lawyer's not looking at LEILANI. He's looking at the witness and he's looking at the jury. So, you know, it took someone to tell him, and he goes back and looks at it and goes, yep, she sure did. I might have to go back and watch that later and see. But she was looking at the witness when she said it. All right. So, yeah, that's when you've got, you know, quite literally tens of thousands of people watching. Don't do dumb shit like that. Well, you don't do dumb shit like that even if nobody's watching. That's kind of the point. But she is a damn piece of work, and I wonder if the jury saw it. That's a question. All right, let's continue.
She has an absolute right to testify under oath from the witness stand. I don't know whether she'll exercise it or not. That's up to her. But what she does not have
I doubt it.
Is make unsworn statements from counsel table that the jury might be able to observe.
So she's swearing in an unsworn statement.
I don't know how much control this particular defendant has over her facial expressions and mannerisms and things like that. But it seems like keeping your mouth shut is something that she ought to be able to accomplish.
Fair enough. And see, again, in a way, I don't think she can control, but I have and I admit this, I freely admit this, I have a complete inability to hide my feelings. It's only if I can control it after an instant, but I can't. I'm not one of those people that can just go, oh yeah, I really hate it, and just keep a mild face. If something annoys me, upsets me, I'll at least give a big, and then I'll be okay, fine. There's a flash of my honest emotions before I can wrangle them, and that's always been a problem, because people will say, hey, let's do something, and then I'll go, okay, and they go, no, we saw you look at us all in disgust, like you didn't want to do it. So, but he's right. Even if she can't keep her facial expressions under control, she can keep her damn mouth shut. So, yeah. All right, let's move on.
Now, she was leaning over and she was whispering to me or Mr. Purse at the time. Okay, so while I understand Mr. Dean's concern, and I understand Mr. Dean doesn't like it, she has the absolute right to communicate to us her thoughts and her opinions. Okay, so the fact that there's a camera here is not something I have any control over, nor does Ms. Simon, and nor does Mr. Dean. Okay, so I'm not really sure what, and just for the record, okay, I always tell my clients to scribble it down, write it, pass it to me, rather than have something like this, because the state likes to make these great big things into something. Basically, it's a molehill that they're trying to turn into a mountain, and it's not really relevant.
Oh, so your client doesn't listen to you.
And the fact that the camera picked it up, irrelevant. The fact he didn't like what she said, completely irrelevant. The fact he's trying to tell her she can't say it, that is relevant. She has the absolute right to talk to us, Judge. And again, I didn't put the camera there. I don't put the camera on her, and I don't control what goes out. And so I'm not going to ask my client to not communicate with us. That's just simply not going to happen. I have asked her to write it down or whisper it to me. Okay? The fact that you can see has nothing to do with us. I've had to go through this entire trial trying to keep myself exactly where I'm at, doing exactly what I need to do, not cognizant of the fact that there are people behind me that are recording and paying attention to everything I do. Trust me, I get where Mr. Dean's coming from. Okay? It affects all of us. But I'm not going to ask her not to communicate with us. Okay? That's just not going to happen. Okay? And I will tell her to try and be more discreet about it, which I've already done. But I'm not going to ask her not to communicate with us.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Okay, I've heard from both. We're going to move on from this point, but I will address Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon, you do have a right to communicate with your attorneys. I will say I did not observe mouthing from the
and this is how you do it.
The last witness, but nor was I looking the entire time.
That's how you do it.
I don't discount,
you have that big yellow legal pad.
Dean, has observed. I also don't discount what your attorneys have stated on your behalf. Do not make any mouthing communication with any of the witnesses. Not saying you have. Don't do it, okay?
Or as we saw in the YNW Melly trial a year and a half ago, if you're the lawyer that holds up the evil plans and stuff notebook and whispers like this. That's all you got to do. Do that, bitch.
Speak to you are free to speak with your attorneys, but we'll let it stay there. Okay. All right. So other than that, is there anything else from the state at this point?
Yeah,
Mr.
Ms. Parker is going to be handling the first witness today. She does not have a microphone. So the question would be, is there a second microphone?
Is that a microphone up there?
Mr. Hilliard's doing his.
Is that going to be a problem for you that using the defense mic? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hilliard. And Ms. Parker, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. Bring in the jury, please.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip ahead to the oldie jury here.
I hope you all had a good night. At 9 o'clock, we had a couple of matters that we had tonight. Has anyone heard this?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Michelle McCullough.
Oh, I'm betting this is the babysitter's mom. She said she told her mom. All right, I'm gonna use my the amazing Kreskin powers. This is the mom. She's going to say, my daughter told me, and here's my personal interactions with her. She treated Quentin like shit. My daughter told me these things. The cross-examination will be, did you call the police? Did you call Child Protective Services? Did you call that whatever the other organization was? Did you see any marks? No further questions. That's my prognostication for the future of this witness.
Step this way now. Please, clerk, just come on. Please, clerk, and raise your right hand, please. The evidence you should be in court and the jury and trial decision should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Step this way now. Now let's see what
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Parker.
Can you tell the jury your name, please, ma'am?
Michelle McCarta.
And are you the mom of Talia that we heard testify yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you know the defendant in this case, LEILANI Simon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you also know Daniel Youngkin?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you know their children?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know Quentin Simon?
Yes, ma'am.
Too high.
Before we get deeper into this, I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. May I approach, Your Honor? Yes. Ms. McCarta, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and without saying what's in it, is it a photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and does it fairly and accurately depict what is in the photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, we tender what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29 into evidence, please.
Okay, Exhibit 29 is admitted without objection.
Okay. And now that it's in evidence, can you tell us what this is a picture of?
This is a picture of Quentin when I was off. We took him to.
Okay, I did just look at that clip. And from what I'm looking at, she did say that's a fucking lie. And she wasn't talking to her attorney. She did this. She's looking right at the witness, and she says, that's a fucking lie. She looked down at her. She like clicked her pen and looked down at the pad. She didn't look at her lawyer. She didn't talk to her lawyer. Anything like that. Yeah, all right.
To a lobster to eat.
Okay. So in this
button.
photograph, he was out with you.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I publish this to the jury? Yes, you may. I'm just going to do it old school.
Okay.
Thanks for sending that clip.
Ms. McCarta, how did you first become acquainted with the defendant and Daniel?
Through a church lady that went to church with us for many years.
Okay. And who was the church
Through
lady?
what? Through the church lady. The church lady, really?
Who was it? Who could it possibly be? Was it? Oh, I don't know. Satan?
Sandra Howell.
Okay. And was she related to them in some way?
She was the sister of Billy Joe's husband.
Okay. So that would be, she was the sister of the defendant's stepfather?
Yes.
Okay. And did she introduce you to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the purpose of her introducing you to them?
She had been keeping the children and her knee got real bad. So she asked if me or my daughter or both could watch them because she wasn't able to do that anymore.
How many daughters do you have?
I have 3 daughters.
Okay. And which daughter was going to help babysit?
Maritza McCarta.
Okay. And is that your oldest daughter?
No, she's 19. She's my middle.
She's the middle one, and then Talia is the youngest.
Yes.
Okay. So did you go and meet with the defendant and her family to perhaps babysit the children?
No, ma'am. Billy Joe had called me on the phone a couple days later.
Okay. And did she set up the babysitting arrangement?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember approximately when this was?
We started watching Quentin and them around the end of January, February of 2022.
Okay. And that would have been before Sky was born.
Yes.
So at that time, when you first started babysitting, there were just the 2 boys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And about how old would the boys have been then?
Quentin was young, maybe 9 months, 10 months.
Okay, so they would have been, Zane would have been a toddler.
Yes.
And Quentin would have been an infant.
Yes.
When you first started babysitting.
Yes.
So how did it work? Who brought the kids to your house?
Most of the time, Danny. Once in a while, Leilani.
All right. And how often would the children stay with you?
At first, it was just when they worked. And then it started being overnight. And
Why
a
are
lot
they
of
not
times
showing this
we would even
witness? She's
call
not a
for
minor.
Quentin to stay with us, even when they were off.
Okay. Now, who was paying you?
Leilani was paying, but it wasn't like steady. She would pay, and then she would text me later and tell me she needed formula for Sky or diapers, and could she come and get it? And she would pay back when she got paid next time.
Drop my cigar.
And how much were they paying you to babysit? Do you remember what the agreed upon amount was, whether you were actually getting that or not?
Really
it
quick
was like
nights.
$25
You have
here,
no
$30
idea
there.
how close I came to singing
one time I
that
think she
song a
paid
minute
100.
ago.
It was just different amounts because she would tell me she didn't have it or she had to do this.
I just figured nobody would
So
know
is
it.
it fair to say that you and your daughter were being paid a lot less than the normal going rate for childcare?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. You said that Quentin would spend the night sometimes. Would both the boys spend the night or just Quentin?
Zane stayed a handful of times. Quentin stayed a lot.
And why is that? Why would Quentin stay overnight?
Honestly, Quentin loved us. He was close to us. And I just felt like he would be better off at our house because there was a difference in the love she showed between Zane and Quentin. And I felt bad. And I would work and my daughter would say, can we just get him, Mom, because this happened today? And I would say, yeah, call her and ask her if he can stay.
Can you think of some examples of how the defendant treated the boys differently?
Well, she was working at Bojangles and she had brought food home. And she fed, Quentin loved food. And every time he seen a bag, he would want it. He's little. She would feed Zane before she fed Quentin. Every time.
You
And I
didn't
just
feed
thought
your
that was
kids at the same
strange.
time?
So do you mean she gives Zane food and make Quentin wait?
Yes, ma'am,
I mean, She
absolutely.
wasn't physically feeding Zane. at
No,
that
she
time.
would give him the
Just
food.
give him food.
And he would eat. And then Quentin would be, whining and wanting it. And she would give it to him eventually.
Did you ever say anything
the
to her
hell?
about that?
I did not.
Are there any other ways that she treated the boys differently that you noticed?
Just by the way she talked to him, when she would, once in a while that she did come and pick them up, she would, grab Zane and he would hug her because he was close to her. I mean, you could definitely tell it. And then, Quentin 99% of the time wanted to stay with us and he would start crying. Now, if Danny come and picked him up, it was different.
How did Quentin act if Danny came?
He would go with Danny. He wouldn't cry to stay with us. He loved Danny. He would, Danny would pick him up and he'd hug him.
Okay. All right. Did Leilani ever talk to you about how she felt about the boys?
Yes, ma'am. She just, one time, and my daughter had more talks with her than I did. I didn't really talk to her that much, but she just said that she loved Quentin more. I mean, Zane more than Quentin.
God damn it.
And, I didn't question it. She's a crappy mom. I knew that. But I just never said anything to her. I would always call Billy Joe when I seen things that was going on.
Okay. Did she ever, in that conversation, did she explain more about, like, Zane had been through things with her?
Yes,
or anything
that
like
Zane had been her ride or die his whole life. And she did not like Quentin's father.
Well, you
So,
fucked him.
Other than what
It's
you
not
saw
the
in
kid's
your own
fault.
home,
You were the one that
did you ever
fucked the
see
dude, you
things
piece of
outside?
shit.
Like, did you ever observe the children at her house or outside their house?
On one incident, my daughter was going to our shed, that's where our laundry room is, and she had come running in and saying, Mama, Zane and Quentin is in the ditch. Well, it was the road on Buckhalter, but the ditch is right here. And Quentin was actually in the ditch, and Zane was trying to get him out.
Did you go out and see the kids outside?
I did.
And at some point, were they returned home or took back to your home?
They was returned. I asked Talia to take them home and find out where Leilani was. I immediately called Billy Joe.
And observing these kinds of things, did you ever report it to any authorities?
It had been reported. It had happened several times even before we started keeping them that I didn't know about, and it had been reported.
Okay. Do you know what authority, if any, it had been reported to?
Defects.
Okay, so it is being reported. They're just
And you
doing
say it had
fuck
been
all about
reported.
it.
So were you aware of somebody other than you reporting it? Okay. And if you could say yes.
Yes,
or no.
yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. And I won't ask you what they said since we're in court. I just need you to, say what you did and said. Let's move to the day that Quentin
better put the
disappeared.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that morning?
Yes.
All right. Or actually, let's talk about the day before we move to that. The day before, were you supposed to watch the children that day?
Yes.
And what happened?
Well, they picked up the kids. I did watch them, and Danny come and picked them up, and they were supposed to come back the next day. And around about 5:28, 5:29, I got a text from Danny saying that Leilani was keeping the kids today.
Okay. Now, had that happened before?
Oh.
No, because even if she didn't go to work, most of the time she sent them to.
Okay. Danny said they called the babysitter and said, because her lazy ass won't get the fuck out of bed, that she'll be watching the kids. That's who he was talking to on the phone. This Michelle. All right. I just connected the dots in my head. So he wakes up. He can't get his stupid bitch girlfriend out of her drug-induced coma or whatever the hell, her post-murder drug-induced coma. And so he says, hey, look, you're watching the kids, calls Michelle, this witness, and says, okay, there you go. She'll be watching the kids.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because, and she would stay at home because one day I had them and me and my daughters were taking them somewhere. And when we rode by, when we got in the car, she was on her front porch. It's like a little porch. And when she seen us, she actually ducked down and hid from us because she was supposed to be at work.
Oops.
But it didn't matter. We loved him, so I would have kept him anyway.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Quentin was like? Like, what did Quentin like? I know he was very young. He wasn't even 2 years old yet, but were there things that he said or things that he liked that you know about?
Yes. He loved cheese. Every time I would get home from work, he would want mac and cheese, and he would go to the refrigerator and he would get my cheese out, my block of cheese for me to cut it for him. And if I would have let him, he'd eat the whole thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
He loved Blimpie.
What?
He loved Bubbles. Anytime we could go to the store and get him Bubbles.
Blimpie sandwiches?
He was a very happy baby when he was with us.
And you said that he would spend the night. When he would spend the night, where would he sleep?
Usually we would all make a pallet in the floor and we would let him watch Blimpie until he fell asleep.
A Wimpy.
And what is Blimpie?
A Blimpy.
It's a cartoon. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
For those that don't have little kids that don't know what Blimpie is, so it's a cartoon.
Yes.
Okay. The children, when they came to your home, were they sent with clothes, food, diapers, things that they would have needed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So how was that handled?
Well, Zane always come dressed. Several times we got Quentin and he would be in a long onesie and he would have poop from all over. I don't want to say a baby didn't smell good, but he smelled like rotten milk. He had rings around his neck. We'd immediately bathe him and put him fresh.
Oh, it's funnier when Paul says it. It's just really sad when she says it.
Clothes on.
Okay. Did you keep clothes for him at your house?
I did because I had to tell Billy Joe that she wasn't sending anything for the kids.
Okay. And did Billy Joe give you money to get clothes?
Yes. We went and got clothes. I took pictures of the clothes and the receipt and sent them to her.
Okay. And so then after that, you just kept clothes at your house?
Yes. I kept half of the clothes there.
Okay. All right. Now that we've covered that, now let's go to...
Again, another person other than the mother that showed emotion for the child.
That day, what is the first time you became aware something was out of the ordinary? You said, so that morning, Danny had texted you that the kids were going to stay at home.
Yes.
At that point, did you have any more conversation with anybody about that?
No.
Now I want mac and cheese.
Then what's the
goddammit.
next thing you heard from anybody in that family?
Me and my youngest daughter was on the way to McDonald's. Danny calls and asked me, did I get Quentin or have I seen him? And I said, no, why? And he said that Leilani said he was missing. So my kids homeschool. I ran to McDonald's. We come back. I dropped my youngest daughter off and me and my oldest daughter headed down to Leilani's house.
Okay. Do you remember about what time of the morning this was?
Maybe around 9.
Okay. And so you dropped off food at your house. And how close is your house to theirs?
Patty corner across the street.
Okay. So y'all are neighbors. You're real close by.
Yes.
So you dropped food off and then you went over to their house.
Yes.
And what do you drive?
Armada.
And what color is it?
White.
Okay. And when you got there, did you park in the driveway?
I did.
Okay. I'm asking because we've seen some scene photos with the vehicle,
Yes.
and that Armada that's white is your vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you got there, were there any police there yet?
No, ma'am.
All right. What did you do when you got there?
I asked Leilani if I could go in and help her look because Quentin liked to hide. He would hide from us under the bed. Like he just liked to play like hide and seek. She told me no. Me and my daughter both no. I asked, was the police called? They said no. Danny said no. And I said, why haven't you called the police? And I told her, I said, call the police. And then she did call the police.
When you got there, was Paul outside?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So Paul, did you later see Paul?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But when you got there, it's just Danny and Leilani.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were they?
Under the little carport. They have a little covered carport. There was like when you pull in their driveway in the back, it's like a little carport.
Okay.
Before you go in to get to the pool and the little play area.
Okay. So are you talking about where cars are parked or like the porch thing behind the house?
When you pull where the cars are parked, but they was kind of standing out from underneath the carport.
Sort of in the driveway.
Yes.
Okay. So they're standing in the driveway, and what were they doing?
She was standing there smoking a cigarette right after another. She was like screaming.
At some point, did the police get called?
Yes.
Okay. Was that immediately after you suggested it or later?
I would say a couple minutes. I heard her get on the phone and call the police.
And did the police show up?
Yes.
All right. After the police arrived, what did you do? Or where
Had to
did
get
you go?
smashed.
Paul had come down at that time, and he was letting Zane ride this little car thing. Well, he ended up doing it too fast. Zane fell and slid across the concrete, and I had asked one of the policemen if I could take Zane to my house until all this was kind of, situated, and they told me yes, I could.
So did you take Zane and go home?
I did.
And at some point, were you interviewed by law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
When did that
happen? Well, I have cameras, so a gentleman came that worked, and he checked my camera system and asked me questions. And then I was also pulled into the police station by a detective.
Okay, so you go do like a formal interview?
Yes.
During the time that you were keeping the kids, did Leilani ever bring them to you to go somewhere other than work?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, she a couple times she said that she had to run to 204 to go take care of business. And then a couple times we kept them when she was off work that we knew she was going to be off work, but we didn't know what she was doing.
Okay. When she would say she was going to 204, did you know what that meant?
No.
Okay. And how long would she be gone when she said she was going to 204?
Maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. All right. Give me just a moment, okay? Thank you, Ms. McCarter. That's all the questions that we have, and the defense counsel may have some.
All right, here we go. Let's see where this is going, because she said she reported it. The defects or whatever the hell that is.
Ms. McCarter, I'm Martin Hilliard. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Shut up.
Is it safe to assume that you, prior to October of 2022, already had strong opinions about Leilani's fitness as a mother?
No, sir.
You did not have strong opinions prior to October?
Oh, yes.
So,
sorry.
Yeah. So you didn't think she was a good mom, and you were fairly vocal about it, and you didn't hesitate to say something about it when it was on your mind, correct?
Yeah, I didn't think she was a good mom. Thought she was a shitty mom.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So that being said,
okay, all right, that broke the tension a little bit. Michelle, you're a good person. I thought she's a shitty mom. Great in-court testimony. I like when people just naturally swear in court. You shouldn't do it, but I like when it happens organically like that. Why won't these subtitles come down?
I'm going to ask you, you started watching Quentin in January to February of 2022, correct?
Yes, sir.
And everything you just told me, I'm going to ask you what you did, okay?
Okay.
Did you ever make any police reports? You?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever make any reports to DFACS? You?
I talked to them. Yes, I did.
That wasn't the question. I asked you if you reported what you were concerned about.
No, because DFACS got in contact with me.
That's, again.
No, I did not.
You never reached out, and you weren't concerned enough between January and October to do that on your own, were you?
I was very concerned.
But not concerned enough to reach out and make a report.
I didn't have to. They reached out to me.
Okay. Well, that being said, you didn't reach out and make a report, correct?
No, I did not.
All right. So,
dude, you're losing this one. She's already said I didn't have to reach out to them. They reached out to me. So that kind of counters your argument there, bro. Yeah, even though they reached out to you, you didn't reach out to them, huh? Dude, you're losing this one. Move on.
Now, let's talk about the day today. So you started watching Zane and Quentin in January to February of 2022, correct?
Yes, sir.
How many days a week?
5 to 6.
5 to 6
depending.
days a week. All right. And who was it and what time who brought them and what time would they normally come over to your house in the morning?
Early, around 5:36.
And who was it that normally brought them?
Danny.
And in the afternoons, what time would they go home?
4:35.
And who was it that normally picked them up?
Danny.
And over the course of this 8 or 10 month period that we're talking about, January or February of 2022 to October of 2022, how many times would Miss Simon be the one that dropped them off or picked them up?
I would say a handful of times.
10, 5?
Maybe 10.
Okay, so out of a possible 10 times a week for...
Oh, not 10 times a week.
No,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Just let me finish. So drop off in the morning, pick up in the afternoon. That's 2 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's at least 5 days a week. That's 10 times a week, right? Correct?
Yeah, she didn't come. No, not that much.
I understand. What I'm saying is so there's 10 possible or 12 possible drop-offs or pickups in a week for the kids, right?
Since I was keeping them.
Since you were keeping them.
Yes.
And she would maybe do 1 a week.
Maybe,
2 a
yes.
week. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. So it's also a fair statement that Danny was the one who mostly did the dropping off and the picking up.
How is this helping your client, dude? How is this helping your client? Just to say that she's not even doing it 10% of the time. She's not even a 10% mom. It's the boyfriend. It's the one who has absolutely zero blood ties to that child that is dropping him off and picking him up at your house. How is this helping your case, Mr. Lawyer? You better come up with a damn good question right quick here. Island says, how much more until doggos? I'm sad now. Well, speaking of that, just a minute ago on Venmo, we got a $5 donation from Initials LC. I don't know who that would be here in chat. But some of the initials LC dropped a $5, which is super, super awesome. And I deeply appreciate that. Right. So LC, step forward and be recognized officially in chat. I don't want to. It's definitely not Lincoln Kane. Anyway, so that's a 5, that's a 10 there. Yeah, not lawn crime. Anywho, so that puts us where? I'm checking real quick here. That's 40. That's 50. We're about looks like we're about 60 away. Looks like we're about 60 away from it would be Lone Star then. Lone Star, thank you so much. Now that we've solved that mystery. Lone Star said they sent a Venmo. Cool. Oh, that's I'll have to make a note. Oh, wait, never mind. LC was from the 28th of October for the Halloween stream. We also got the $5 just now from, I assume, that would be Lone Star. So it just says doggo $5. So Lone Star, that would be you. I see that now. All right. Thank you so much. No, LC is not LC. The initials LC was from like the 28th of October. The new one is from Lone Star. So all right. Thank you so much for that. I said that puts us about 60 away. 60 away from the emotional support potato pig dogs. Let's keep rolling.
Correct.
Absolutely.
If I understand your testimony correct,
not
uncommon for
Cohen's
even
ghost.
if she was asleep for the kids to come stay with you, correct?
Correct.
I'm your
And Danny would be the one that dropped them off, even on those days, correct?
Correct.
So Danny was the one who mostly did the dropping off and the picking up and the one that interacted with you.
Yes.
If you want to
That's
ghost,
a fair statement.
Yes.
I'll wear a sheet.
You also
for
stated a minute
you.
ago that it was odd
I'm your ghost.
that you would get a text not dropping the kids off.
Yes, I did.
All right. I was talking way too much there. Let's go back.
Maybe do one a week. or
Maybe,
2 a week.
yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. So it's also a fair statement that Danny was the one who mostly did the dropping off and the picking up, correct?
Absolutely.
And if I understand your testimony correct, it's not uncommon for even if she was asleep for the kids to come stay with you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Danny would be the one that dropped them off even on those days,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct.
So Danny was the one who mostly did the dropping off and the picking up and the one that interacted with you.
Yes.
Okay. That's a fair statement.
Yes.
Okay. You also stated a minute ago that it was odd that you would get a text not dropping the kids off.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that's because even if she was home, she would stay sleeping. Now, who was it that sent you the text on 5:30 on the morning of October 5th?
Danny.
Okay. And he said the kids were staying home with LEILANI, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was odd, was it not?
Yes, because she never kept them.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So did that stand out to you as being odd at the time?
No, not. I never thought she would hurt her child. So.
Well, I understand you have your conclusions, but
Mhm.
it was odd that Danny texted that to you, though, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was odd that he texted it to me.
Well, you just stated you can't have it both ways, Mr.
Well, no,
Barr.
I think it was odd that she kept them because she never did. But I don't think it was odd that Danny texted it to me.
Okay.
Because I had more communication with him than I did her.
Correct, because he was the one who mostly watched the children, correct?
Yes, yes.
He was the one who mostly took care of the children,
Yes,
correct?
absolutely.
So that being said, is 90% of the time, he was the one over there care, custody, and control based on what you observed, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you stated that Quentin would be better off at your house, and y'all kept him a lot of times, correct?
Yes.
All right. And physically, was Quentin thriving?
No, how can a kid thrive that doesn't get shown the love and get
Seriously.
food and get everything else that another kid would get? I don't think he was thriving.
Would you be surprised to find out that medically he was?
Oh, fuck off, you nutcase. There is a big difference between thriving medically and actually thriving as a child. You dickhead. I hate this defense team. I know they're doing their job. I know they're doing their job. I know they have a duty. They have an ethical duty to their client to aggressively advocate for their client. She has a right to have someone aggressively advocate for her. But don't be an absolute dickhead about it. You can do it. You can aggressively advocate for your client without being a complete POS. And they're just demonstrating that they have no, what's the word I'm looking for? They have no situational awareness, and is making them look really bad in front of the jury. I mean, nothing could show this disconnect more than what just happened. This statement here. Was the child thriving? To which he says, how can a child that doesn't get the love from its own mother, who doesn't get the emotional support, thrive? Well, would it surprise you to know that she was medically thriving? Come on. Dude, don't be a munch.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Would you be surprised to find out that medically he was?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Now, whenever you responded that day and you came over to the house, you said it was Danny that called you, but is it possible that you were wrong? It might have been LEILANI that called you
No,
to come over?
no, LEILANI did not call me.
Okay. All right. And whenever you got over there, you said she was screaming and upset, correct?
She was screaming, but she wasn't crying. I feel like that if something was to happen to one of my kids, I would be hysterical, and I would also be out looking for my child.
Ms. McCarter, do you understand that different people respond to different stressors in different ways?
Point.
I just don't, when something's wrong with one of your children, I think you would respond crying, upset, and looking, and calling 911 first before you call anyone else.
And I'm going to ask you, Ms. McCarter, you've already formed opinions about Ms. Simon at this point in time, correct?
I have.
Okay. And is it possible that you're projecting those opinions onto what her behavior should be according to you?
Absolutely not.
So you
I
think
do
this,
not.
So you think objectively that everybody should act the way you think they should?
No, I don't think everybody should act, but a mother that has children, that you carry them in your stomach by your heart. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't she?
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is you seem to be actually saying, yes, you agree with me. I'm saying you're projecting.
Dude, you have no idea how severely your ass is getting handed to you right now by this witness. She's wrong. She's wrong in what she's saying. He is completely, absolutely correct that everybody reacts to situations differently. I've said this a million. Okay, if I've told you a million times, I've told you once, don't exaggerate. I have said this many, many times on stream. I don't like it when people say, well, he or she wasn't crying. Because, oh, you weren't crying, so you didn't do it. Okay, but then if they do cry, it's a sign of guilt. So there are no right answers. Crying, not crying doesn't show. Everybody reacts differently. And I've mentioned it before. My brother is killed. It took me like 4 years before I cried. My mother died, and I've never cried for my mother dying because literally due to the situation, my reaction was, well, thank God she's not suffering and in pain anymore. It was a relief. So how people react to situations, whether they cry or don't cry, that is not an indicator of guilt or innocence by any stretch of the imagination. He's absolutely right. The witness is wrong, but the way she's delivering it, the way she's explaining it, you need to move on. Because what she is saying, although I would argue it's very incorrect, it is resonating with the jury. The jury's going, hey, yeah, you're right. You hold the baby by your heart inside you for 9 months. She's wrong, but she's beating your ass, defense lawyer. And he can't see this. This is the situational awareness I was just talking about. He knows he's right, and he's pressing it and pushing it, even though it makes him look like an idiot and makes him look wrong. You can be right and look horrifically wrong, and that's the point when you just need to shut up and move on, and he doesn't see that. All right, as long as we're paused here momentarily, let me decompress here a bit. Brummy Nan of 2, all the way from the great United Kingdom, or Yeonguk as we call it here in Korea. Need the doggos 5 pounds. We got the 5 pounds. Janet Burris dropping the $20 heat just because people really need doggos. I agree with you. And also, quickly on the heels of Lone Star, we've got initials EG. EG, step forward and be recognized. EG has also sent $10 on Venmo saying doggos. So that puts us, we're only 22 away now. We're 22 away from dog. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, wait a minute. I just got another notification. What did I get the notification for? CPB. We need some emotional support now with the $10. Stringer Bell, that was you. Stringer Bell is EG. Stringer Bell is EG? I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised. Stringer Bell and EG. I was okay, cool. I would have misgendered Stringer Bell. Right, cool. Stringer Bell, thank you. And then CPB is the other person who did this. Gave the $10, so we're 12, and we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Jill M's with the $5. That puts us we're about $7 away from Doggo Cam. Just in one fell swoop, we're about 7 away. Oh, Carlos just gifted 1 Legal Vices membership. It's a sudden rush. And Melanie, you got that gifted membership from Carlos 247. We're now $2 away. We're now just about $2 away from unleashing the emotional support potato pig dogs. So there we go. We'll pick that up. We're just this close. Me too. The Wire is awesome, as I've mentioned before. So thank you everybody who gave the super chat, who gave the non-YouTube involved Venmos, and who bought the gifted membership. Thank all of you people for this. And Kate Monstrous dropping the 5, release the hounds. Karen Michelle putting a dancing lemon super sticker for the $3. Oh, it feels like a telethon now. Keep it coming, people. Well, I will say that where we stand right now is we have for day 60. Wife Duck, hey, how you doing, Wife Duck? I saw that you were unable to get in here yesterday for a bit. Me too. Yesterday was kind of a weird day. Wife Duck with the $5 says, I want my $2. That was a great movie. I want my $2. Great. One of my favorite movies. Thank you very, very much. And Island with the $2. I hate these people. Give me doggos, please. Well, okay. Day 60, ladies and gentlemen. All 316 of you that are watching currently, even though only 227 of you hit that like button. I need like 90 of you to hit that like button while I'm doing this. This will be our midstream grift. 316 people, 227 likes. We've got for day 60. We have now for 60 days in a row. We have kept the streak alive for 60 days to unleash the emotional support potato pig dogs. So we all know what that means. We know that means it is time. It's time to issue the order that we all love to hear every day, especially in these times of difficult trials. That is the order to release the hounds. And there is Yoda, our emotional support potato pig dog of the day. Strawberry has literally just walked out the door 3 seconds ago to go drink. I can hear Strawberry getting a drink of water as we speak. Adara, the wholesome of the $5 defense. Ghost of baby Quentin, you say mommy hurt you. Did you seance with the police? Did you seance with DFAX? Are you medically thriving? That's horrible. That's a horrible Adara, but funny as hell. I can literally see this defense team asking a ghost if they're medically thriving. I can see them doing that. Oh, thank you everybody for getting us over to the emotional support potato pig dog cam for the 60th day in a row. And I said we have our like and subscribe poll up. Our like and subscribe poll is just that little reminder to make you do those YouTube-y things. Let's look at how we've got here, what we've got so far. 290 votes. Today's like and subscribe poll is, I wasn't expecting a witness to testify to that, in reference to yesterday's testimony. So let's see what you weren't expecting a witness to testify to. 11% of you said you weren't expecting a witness to testify that the dog is a total artard. Yesterday was so good. And 18% of you said that you weren't expecting a witness to testify that one kid had crap all up in his hair. And 32% of you said that you weren't expecting a witness to testify that the FBI failed to provide them with the promised pizza after 17 hours of investigation and interrogation, and that the witness was still angry at the FBI for not providing the pizza after 2 years. And in fact, they were so upset at that point in time that they door-dashed pizza because the FBI lied. And 38% of you have said you weren't expecting a witness to testify that they had talked to the dead baby's ghost in a seance via a candle and a holy Bible, and had actually offered to summon the baby spirit in court if they would provide the necessary tools. So that's our like and subscribe poll for today. If you haven't taken it yet, please do it, and we'll check back in at the end of the day. All right, so we'll just chill with Yoda, and when Strawberry rejoins us, we'll flip the camera over to Straubs. Thank you for enjoying and sticking with me through that midstream grift. And let's get back to the testimony. And oh yes, this is where the defense lawyer saying that they're just projecting. You're projecting your emotions onto the. No, your client's a bitch. Sorry.
Projecting your opinions and your ideas and your beliefs onto other people.
No.
Is it possible that's what you're doing?
No, it's not possible when I'm not doing that.
Okay. And who was it that paid you every week, you said?
Sometimes Leilani, sometimes Danny. It would come from their different cash apps.
All right. So, but you, again, there were cash app records and so, and they were paid, but not necessarily always regularly. But they paid.
That was a good gift. Okay. I agree, and I'm grateful to each and every one of you, even those of you that are just watching and hanging out. Love you guys.
You also mentioned this thing about giving food. Now, were there separate containers for Zane and separate containers for Quentin, or was it one container of food?
It was, she would bring a bag of food home and it would have, they would both want it, but she would always give Zane first. She would always give it to him first. And she would tell Quentin, stop, wait.
All right. And Zane was the older of the two, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, correct? And how old was Zane at this point in time?
3.
Okay. And how old would Quentin be at this point in time?
10 months, maybe.
No. So,
making the 10-month-old
you may have,
wait.
you may not. But you thought that that was some sort of indicia of preference.
Well,
Well,
fuck
yes,
yeah, it
because when you have
is.
more than one kid, you would take it inside, you would half it, in plates, and give it to both of them, not just serve one while the other one's crying for the food.
Yeah, and let the 3-year-old that can
both of
feed his own damn
That's the
self
part I understand that's
eat.
what you believe, but you understand other people may believe differently and disagree with you.
And that's okay. They can disagree with me, but if you have kids, you have to do it. You should do it a certain way. I mean, you should feed both of them. You want both of your kids to eat, not just one while the other one's crying.
Okay, well, but Quentin did get to eat, though, did he not?
Yes.
Okay, defense lawyer, let me ask you this question. So you come home from a hard day being Mr. Defense Lawyer. You're hungry as shit because you didn't have time to eat lunch. You sit down at the table. Mrs. Defense Lawyer lays out the dinner for herself and the kids. And you're like, hey, where's mine? He's like, you just shut your mouth and you wait your turn, dumbass, and makes you sit there and watch all the kids eat. And then she says, all right, now that everybody else is eating, you get to have your plate, Mr. Defense Lawyer. You'd be saying, what the hell? Yeah, what the fuck is up with that? And how would you react if she said, well, we just do it differently here in this family. You eat last. What would your reaction to that be, defense? Can you see how fucking stupid you sound? You sound like a dumbass because this is a dumbass question. In my 55 years of life, I have never seen a mother that loves her children or is even remotely normal that says, all right, every other child eats first before this last child or before this second to last child. Everybody else eats. This kid waits. I have never seen a normal human being do that to their child. Piss off, idiot.
A few minutes later.
All right, but you understand there's a difference between withholding food from a child and feeding the child in a different order than you would do, right?
Yes.
There is no order you feed children in.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Even if you have twins, even if you have like infant twins, you give one bite, you give the other one another bite, and you do it like that. You don't go, you starve, little fucker. I'm going to feed this. You don't do that. What a dumbass. And I'm not blaming him for trying to make this argument as a defense lawyer. I'm just saying it makes him sound like a complete, what the hell? Rimshot was the dog's name. Was the R-tarded dog name. He makes him sound like a complete rimshot. It makes the jury hate you, sir. And that's the last thing you want to have happen with this witness. With your client, the very last thing you want them to do is to hate her and hate you. And you have effectively just given them a goddamn yellow brick road to follow all the way to the Oz world of hating your ass.
Yes, she may. So, Ms. McCarter, you are excused. You can remain or you can leave.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't eat last. Just saying.
The state may call its next witness.
Jenny Cox.
No jokes, chat. Jenny, who can I turn to?
Hold the witness, please. Your Honor, this is one of the witnesses for which we're asking that the
Jenny,
cameras not be where you
what's your number? 8675309. This trial lasted 9 days, in case you're wondering. Man, those are the ceilings we had in my high school. We'd like throw pencils up and stick them into the ceiling.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes,
And while she's seating Sebastian Muller with the Danish kroner, still no emotion from the defendant. I had my doubts about the defense lawyer, but I am sorry, but he sounds like a hoe.
COX?
Yes, sir.
And what's your spelling of Jenny?
It's JENNIE.
Where do you work?
I work at the Chatham County Police Department.
And what is your position there?
I'm currently an agent at the counter narcotics team.
Okay, so like Marion Lemons, you're detailed out to CNT right now?
Yes, sir.
Prior to that detailing, were you a detective with Chatham County Police
What do you
Department's Criminal Investigations Division?
Can we put the camera on the witness so I don't have to watch her munching on whatever snacks she got? And she's like, suck it, Sarah Boone. I get snacks at my table.
Yes, sir, I was.
What was the general time period of your being a detective in CID?
I was a detective for about a year, from January of 2021 until about January, February of 2022.
Now, were you a detective in CID during the time period of this investigation?
Yes, sir, I was.
Well, this was October of 2022, right?
Yes, sir.
So I thought you just said you were a detective from January of 2021 to January of 2022.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it would have been January of 2022 to January of 2023.
Okay, thank you. When did you join the Chatham County Police Department to begin with?
I was hired in September of 2020.
And are you from the local?
I know this witness will be off camera. I mean, she's a narcotics officer. She's doing things, so she kind of needs to be anonymous a little bit, a little undercover-ish. No, I just don't want to watch her snacking. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to watch her chewing her freaking cud like a damn old heifer over there on the defense table.
Area?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. Where are you from?
I was originally born in the Memphis area in Tennessee.
Now, let me draw your attention to October of 2022, the beginning of this investigation, okay?
Yes, sir.
You were a detective at that time.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about October 5th, specifically what, if any, involvement you had on that day.
During the day of October 5th of 2022, I originally stayed at our detective's office, which is located at our Islands Precinct on Whitmarsh Island. I assisted with the first search warrant for the residents of 535 Buckhalter Road.
Were you out there with
Now, poisonous paradox says I feed my family youngest to oldest, even now, when the majority are adults. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and correct me if I'm wrong. You would put the plate in front of the youngest, then put the next plate in front of you wouldn't like make everybody sit there and watch the youngest eat. And then once they finished, you serve the next youngest person. Everybody sits around until they finish eating, and then so on and so on. I'm going to make that assumption because I don't want to think you're a monster. But yeah, that's always like normally the youngest starts eating first. Oh yeah, okay. We have to take off the day 59 from the doggo cam. I forgot to take a. All right, where's the? Where are we at here? There we go. Day 59 is gone. We will be on day 60. We're on day 60 now, but we'll put up the banner next time as we always do. That's how we do it around here.
Detective Kiana Robbins, who we heard from a few days ago.
Yes, sir, I was.
And I think we introduced the search warrant for the house into evidence through her. You said you assisted in preparing that.
I knew I was correct because you look like a responsible, normal
gathered the
human
facts
being.
that was relayed to us by the detectives who were on scene that day. And we gathered those facts, wrote them up in an affidavit to present the affidavit to the judge to request a search warrant for the residents to gather more evidence.
Now, from the Islands Precinct CID offices, at some point, did you go to the Chatham County Police Department headquarters where all of these interviews were being conducted?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you yourself, were you on any of the 3 interview teams that we've heard about?
No, sir, I was not.
Did you have any interaction with any of the 3 people who were there for interviews, Danny, Paul, or the defendant?
Yes, I did. sit with the three of them at different times just while the interviews are being conducted.
And did you go to
I'm
the
gonna
scene
grab
that
a
day,
pipe.
the
I'll be right
535
back.
altar? I should call it the scene. I'll call it the residence. Did you go out there at any point?
No, sir, I didn't.
Moving on to October 6th, did you have any involvement in the investigation on that day?
Yes, sir. I wrote another search warrant and affidavit for a vehicle infotainment system for the vehicle belonging to Miss Simon, which was a 2015 Dodge Journey.
And I think we're about to get into this. Is it fair to say that the bulk of your involvement involved preparing affidavits and seeking and obtaining search warrants?
Yes, sir.
And who was primarily directing you on what information in the premises to get search warrants for?
It was primarily the case team, including Detective Lemons.
Okay, so you were primarily providing assistance with search warrants.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go through some of those. But before we do the search warrant stuff, I want to ask you this. Were you involved in an interview with Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
Yes, sir, I was.
And was that on October 6th?
Yes, sir.
Did you also interview his girlfriend?
Yes, sir.
And where did those interviews take place?
Those occurred at the Chatham County Police Department headquarters at our annex.
And how were those arranged?
I believe someone made contact with Henry Moss, and he traveled to meet with us to speak with us regarding the investigation.
And where was he living at that time?
I think it was somewhere near Augusta, a couple of hours away.
Was that also the case for his girlfriend?
Yes, sir.
And did they come down willingly and talk to you?
Yes, sir, they did.
And that was on October 6th?
Yes, sir.
So let's get back to these search warrants. Do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 39?
Yes, I do.
Take a look at that and tell us whether you recognize that.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us what that document is?
This is the order for the search warrant affidavit for the infotainment system for the vehicle that I just spoke about.
Take another look at it. But do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 40?
Yes, I do.
Okay, look at those documents alongside.
All right. Did she confess?
Okay. Are those different documents?
Yes, they are.
Okay. What is 39 and what is 40?
39 is the search warrant for the vehicle, and 40 is the search warrant for the infotainment system.
Okay, 39, the search warrant for the vehicle itself.
Yes, sir.
Who actually executed that search warrant?
It was the Chatham County Police Department forensics team.
Okay, but you obtained the search warrant itself.
Yes, sir.
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the warrant that you obtained?
Yes, sir, it is.
I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 39.
Just can I look at it real quick? Just to make sure. I don't think I have it.
Well, Idaho Wiggles, that makes sense because you're a normal, right-thinking human being.
No objection, Judge.
39 is admitted without objection.
Tell us again what State's Exhibit 40 is.
It is the search warrant for the infotainment system for the vehicle.
Also,
And we've
you're
heard a little bit of
because you're
testimony
normal.
about that, but is that an accurate copy of the infotainment search warrant?
Yes, sir.
When did you obtain that search warrant?
What is on the
This was
infotainment
on,
system
October
that
6th of 2022.
they
Was
found?
this at the same time as you got the search warrant for the vehicle itself?
Yes, sir, it was.
From the same judge?
Yes, sir.
I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 40.
Having reviewed the exhibit, Judge, no objection.
Okay, it is admitted without objection.
Now, what were y'all trying to do with this infotainment search warrant?
So essentially, infotainment search warrant is just a search warrant for the information system within the vehicle.
Ah, the
That
vehicle
information
system.
system can give data to us, like GPS location, when the vehicle stops, when the doors open on the vehicle, speeds on the vehicle. It can also provide information like the odometer. And
We saw this in
if
the
a
Alec
phone is hooked
Murdaugh
up
trial.
To the information system, like a Bluetooth phone, it'll say what calls were made, what text
Your
messages
phone,
were
your
made.
car is
So
snitching on you,
everything that
people.
would be within an information system within a vehicle.
Now, can you get infotainment data from every make and model of vehicle?
No, you can't.
And were y'all able to get it from the vehicle at issue in this case, what year?
2015.
2015.
Don't drive a car after
No, sir,
the
we
muscle
don't.
car era.
We tried, yes, sir.
Is it that you weren't able to pull it, or that data just doesn't exist and isn't able to be obtained on that vehicle?
It was not able to be obtained on that vehicle.
Okay.
I really want a
Do you see in front of
76
you a document
Camaro
marked as State's Exhibit 41?
or a
Yes, sir,
Mustang
yes.
Shelby from the same era. A 69
you
Chevy
recognize-
Nova would be
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
My brother had
What
one.
is
It was
it?
a bitch.
It is a search warrant for Life 360.
And who obtained that search warrant?
I did.
It's a search warrant addressed to the company Life 360, right?
Yes, sir.
And what were you asking for?
I was requesting data from the Life 360 account from Ms. LEILANI Simon and also Mr. Daniel Youngkin. The information that can be provided is location data. Also, there is a way to chat on the application, so you can send messages to people you're sharing your data with. And it also will detect speed and if you're instantly braking or any driving data, it'll provide. So that's what I was requesting along with subscriber information for both of these accounts.
And how did you identify these accounts in the morning?
The accounts were identified by phone numbers.
And what was the phone number that you had in there for Daniel Youngkin's Life 360 data?
It was 910-729-1458.
And what about
912-547-5275.
I want a 69 Mustang. That would be my dream car.
Yes, sir.
I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 41.
Having reviewed the judge, no objection.
Okay, you did it without objection.
How did you serve that warrant on Life 360?
I emailed it to Life 360 to their legal team.
And did you receive responsive records in response to that search warrant?
Yes, I did.
And how did they send them to you?
They sent them to me by email in a zip file.
Did you download that and save it?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you provide it to Detective Lemons and the case team?
Yes, sir.
Did you provide it to Taylor Burns of the FBI?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you see in front of you an item labeled?
It's supposed to be a huge snitch.
Yes, sir.
Can you open that? It's an envelope, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you open it up and take a look at the contents?
God, here's me going through my collection of Zippos to try to find the damn pipe
a
lighter.
disc with the Life 360 data that was provided and a certification of the records from Life 360.
Your Honor, I would call for this as State's Exhibit 42.
Can I approach and look at that today?
All right, let's look at the data. Show us where she was. I have a feeling that their big finale will be the video of her throwing the stinky shrimp pasta into the dumpster, and I don't want it. I don't want that to be the case.
No objection to State's 42, Judge. It does seem to be a certification for this effect.
Oh, no, 98 Cobras are good. 68 Firebird. I'd probably have to go with the mid 70s Firebird.
The records that you provided to the case team and Taylor Burns.
Yes, sir.
At some point, did Detective Lemons ask you to help out with getting some of Quentin Simon's historical medical records?
Yes, sir, she did.
And did you do that?
I did.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 43 and a document marked as State's Exhibit 44?
Yes.
Take a look at those two documents. Take as much time as you need, because I understand I'm asking you to look at a lot of things. Because you did a lot.
I'd probably have to go with the 77 Firebird Trans Am just because Smokey and the Bandit.
What is 43?
They made that car fucking cool.
43 is medical records from Flowers Hospital.
Just to be clear, is it the medical records themselves or is it the search warrant for them?
It's the search warrant for the medical records.
Okay. From where now?
From Flowers Hospital.
And what about 44?
For St. Joseph's Cancer Hospital.
Now,
sorry, chat. I've just ADHD'd here.
Yes, sir, I did.
Chico Mike says, "Do you have the Zippo pipe lighter?" I do, right here. It has the holes on the side rather than the top, so you can hold it like this and light your pipe. So yes, I currently at my desk I have the regular Zippo, the torch Zippo, and the pipe Zippo.
and when did you obtain these?
These were on October 17th of 2022.
And did you serve them on those two, one Flowers Hospital and one St. Joe's Cancer?
Yes, sir.
The 43 and 44, are they accurate copies of those two warrants you got?
Yes, they are.
I would introduce these as State's Exhibit 43 and 44.
No objection to either, Judge. I'll review both.
Okay, Exhibits 43 and 44 admitted without objection.
After you served them on these two hospitals, did each of them provide responsive records to you?
Yes, sir, they did.
Medical records of Quentin Simon?
Yes.
Did you provide those records to Agent Lemons and the case team?
Yes, I did.
Now, do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 45?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what is that?
I don't know. What is it?
Phone records pertaining to Daniel Youngkin's cell phone.
And what is the phone number?
That's better.
It's 910-729.
It's better than looking at her.
Is this another thing that then Detective
Uh-oh, there we
asked you to
go.
Take care of?
Yes, sir.
And you did it?
Yes.
Okay. When did you get this search warrant?
This was on October 28th of 2022.
Now, I don't know whether you know the answer to this or not, but had the case team already obtained those phone records very early on in response to an emergency request to Verizon?
Yes, sir.
And the purpose of it was just to circle back around and get them in a more formal manner?
Yes.
Same records in any case, huh?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 45.
No objection, Judge.
45, you didn't without objection.
Now, did you serve that warrant on Verizon?
I did.
And how did you do that?
I emailed it to Verizon.
Did they have like a law enforcement email address where they receive search warrants or something like that?
Yes, sir.
Do you see in front of you?
Okay. Let's fast forward through whatever they're boomering.
Same day on October 28th of 2022.
Okay, so October 28th is the day you get search warrants for.
All right. I guess we just have
Yes,
to
I
suffer with their
response
boomering.
to, these two search warrants, did Verizon provide you with responsive records?
Yes, they did.
Do you see in front of you an object marked as State's Exhibit 46?
Yes, sir.
And I hope I'm here by going out of order, but if you could open that up and tell us what's in there.
This is a disk containing the records from Daniel Youngkin's cell phone, from Verizon, the cell phone records.
Okay, so, and does it contain a certificate of authenticity from a business record certificate from Verizon?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right, so 46 is the search warrant for Daniel.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? My stapler. Can you give me a stapler here? Hello? Let me see my stapler. Hello?
Great success. It is not just you. The defendant did get really fat since her initial interrogation videos.
Do you recognize the contents of State's Exhibit 48?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
This is the letter of authenticity and also the cell phone records on a disk for Paul Simon's phone.
Okay. And that's a 912-658-6410.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would introduce, I kind of lost my place here, but I would offer the evidence 45, 46, 47, 48.
Can I approach the witness and look at that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Prison food is essentially just carbs. It's just empty carbs. They'll just give you bread, potatoes, cookies, shit like that. It's just nothing but empty carbs. They want to keep you fat and sluggish and lazy.
State's Exhibit 46. It's the disk of Verizon records and it has a certificate of authenticity. So the defense has no objection as to 46. As to State's Exhibit 48, having reviewed the same, it has the same thing. State's Exhibit 48 has a disk with the business records and the certificate of authenticity, so we lodge no objection to that either. My recollection is that 45 and 47 were search warrants, which I've already looked at. We have no objection to those either. I think that covers all four of them.
It does. State's Exhibits 45, 46, 47, 48 are admitted without objection.
Let me know when you're ready to move on, okay?
Okay.
All right, we can fast forward through her rifling through papers, I believe.
Those phone records that we just talked about both sets of them. Once you received them, did you forward them to Detective Lemons?
Yes, I did.
And did you forward them to Taylor Burns of the FBI as well?
Yes.
Now, sometime later in October, were you asked to obtain a couple of search warrants for DNA?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about that?
They were requested from the FBI to compare against DNA of any remains found in the landfill.
And whose DNA were you asked to get search warrants for?
Miss LEILANI Simon and her mother, Billy Jo Howell.
And did you obtain search warrants for their DNA?
Yes, sir.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 49 and 50? Do you recognize those documents?
Yes, sir.
What are those?
These are the search warrants for LEILANI Simon's DNA and Billy Jo Howell's DNA.
And did you obtain those search warrants?
Yes, sir.
What date did you obtain those search warrants?
That was on October 28th of 2022.
Are these fair and accurate copies of those two search warrants?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would introduce these as States 49 and 50.
Having reviewed both exhibits, judge, no objection.
Now, did you yourself serve these search warrants or I guess execute them?
Are you talking about the DNA search warrants?
Yeah.
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Somebody else actually got the swabs and all that?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you were present at Chatham County Police Headquarters for a period of time on October 5th,
Yes, sir.
day one of the investigation.
Yes, sir.
And were you aware that a phone had been seized from each one of the defendant, Danny Youngkin and Paul Simon,
Yes.
and that phone extractions had been performed at the Chatham County Police Department?
Yes.
At some point, were you involved in the transport of the defendant's phone for a second phone extraction?
Yes.
Can you tell us what your involvement in that was?
I transported the phone to Savannah Police Department forensic examiner, Mr. Williams or Officer Williams, and he performed a second extraction on the cell phone.
What type of extraction did he perform?
It's a gray key extraction, and it's just a different program, different from Cellbrite that was extracted at the Chatham County Police Department that oftentimes can do further extraction and provide more data.
Now, when you said you did this with the phone,
Yes, sir.
I want to clarify which phone we're talking about.
It was LEILANI Simon's phone.
And when was it that you took the defendant's phone to Officer Williams of the Savannah Police Department for the gray key extraction?
That was on October 7th of 2022.
Do you remember who you got it from to take it over there in the first place?
I believe it was from Sergeant Coleman.
Okay. And he's with Chatham County Police Forensics?
Yes, sir.
And you took it to Officer Williams of the Savannah Police Department?
Yes.
Did he perform a gray key extraction of the defendant's phone?
Yes, he did.
And did he provide that extraction to you?
Yes, he did.
And how did he provide it to you? Would it have been like a disk or a thumb drive or something like that?
I don't recall exactly what kind of device it was on, but it was something of a USB or a drive.
Some sort of digital storage media?
Yes, sir.
Did he give you the phone back as well?
Yes, sir, he did.
And did you take those two items back to the case team?
Yes, I did.
Did you make that gray key extraction available to Detective Lemons?
Yes.
And did you make it available to Taylor Burns of the FBI?
Yes, sir.
We're about to find out what was extracted.
Were you involved in any of the canvas operations, the neighborhood canvas operations that we've heard
Maybe.
about?
Yes, sir, I was.
Can you tell us about which one you were involved in?
I was involved in the canvas of Azalea Mobile Homes.
And what was your specific involvement?
I was serving as an interpreter. Most of the residents of Azalea Mobile Homes don't speak English, they speak Spanish.
And I take it you speak Spanish as well?
Yes, sir.
One moment, please. Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Just a few questions. I'm going to ask a generalized question, and I might kind of get back down if I need to, but I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You mostly did the search warrants and collected the records that we discussed here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you did the search warrants for the DNA, but you didn't do the collection on that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you did a canvas of the Azalea Mobile Home Park.
Yes, sir.
What day was that?
I don't recall. I know it was the Sunday following when the investigation started, but I don't recall the exact date.
And that's fine. But that was pretty much the extent of your involvement in the case that I'm aware of and that Mr. Dean's asked you about, correct?
Yes, sir. I just kind of served as a assistance role throughout the investigation.
And that's all I wanted to make sure of. So you took the records and passed it on to Detective Lemons or Taylor Burns, correct?
Yes, sir.
Didn't do any interpretation or other than that.
No, sir.
Same thing with the phone extraction. You just collected the data and turned it over, correct?
Yes, sir.
All the questions I got, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Keeney, no redirect at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second.
Thank you, Judge.
May she be excused?
She certainly may. Thank you. We're about an hour and 15 minutes in. Jurors, would you like to take a break at this point? Okay, let's do that. Let's take
All
a
right.
15-minute break. It's about 10:20. Let's
We could just skip through the break because we're awesome that way.
Jury's exiting.
Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Keep those wagons scrolling. Rawhide. Birch.
All right, good morning. Mr. Key.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yeah, Corporal Deshaun Williams, Savannah Police Department Forensics Unit.
Normal spelling of Williams.
All right, I need to add this to my banner here. Hang on real quick. Okay, so he's the dude we saw in the body cam footage there briefly, I believe. Let's see. Officer William. What do you say, Savannah? Officer William. Who'd you what? Where'd you go? Where'd you go, screen? I lost my screen. My screen fell down. There we go.
Yes. WILLIAMS.
I was trying to cut out that step for you.
Gotcha.
Wait,
now
what?
we're all very clear on that. How do you,
What's his name?
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yeah, Corporal Deshaun Williams, Savannah Police Department Forensics Unit.
Normal spelling of Williams.
Yes. WILLIAMS.
I was trying to cut out that step for you.
Gotcha.
Now we're all very clear on that. How do you spell your first name?
DUSEAN.
How long have you been with the Savannah Police Department?
11 years.
And how long have you been with the Savannah Police Department Forensics Unit?
About 7 years.
What's your position in the forensics unit at this point?
Digital forensics.
And were you with I guess you were with the forensics unit in October
All right.
2022?
I was.
So the last officer ripped the data from the car. He analyzed it. So now we might get our explanation as to what was on that and what was seen and where she went and when she went there.
Part of your duties include performing cell phone extractions.
Oh, this is a cell
Can you tell
phone
us a
guy.
little
Never
bit
mind.
about that?
So pretty much we have a unit called Gray Key, and it is iPhone specific. It gains access to any iPhone in its operating system, and we're able to get extraction based off the Gray Key unit.
Can you just walk us through kind of briefly the steps? Somebody comes to you with a cell phone, a detective comes to you with a cell phone, and they want a Gray Key extraction done. What do you do?
So what I do, I take that iPhone, I hook it up to the Gray Key unit. The Gray Key unit gets access to the operating system and the file systems that's on the phone, and it makes a hard copy of everything that's on that phone. It then produces a zip file along with a PDF report, a keychain, and a password list.
What's a keychain?
Keychain is pretty much a file that
Wow, surprised it
holds all
wasn't
the,
Cellbrite
password
for a
tokens
change.
that is stored on the phone.
And what do you then do when you pulled all that data from the phone? What do you do with it?
Typically, I would put it into a physical analyzer, and what the physical analyzer does, it decrypts all the information that's in the zip file and keychain and make it into a readable format. But in this case, I believe the detective just wanted the extraction itself, along with the PDF reports and keychains and password list.
And in this case, did you give the detective the extraction that you had performed?
I did.
Was it on a thumb drive or something?
It
like
is.
that? Okay. Let's talk about the who and the when. When did you perform the Gray Key extraction in this case that you're talking about?
October 7th.
And who was it that provided the phone to you to do the Gray Key extraction?
Detective Cox.
Jenny Cox?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, we
And
just
did
heard
she
from her.
identify the phone to you as that of the defendant?
She did.
What type of phone was it? Not necessarily like the model number and everything, but just generally.
A Apple iPhone XS Max.
And where did you conduct this Gray Key extraction?
At the forensics unit, 78 Ross Road.
And you turned around the resulting data to her?
Correct.
Okay. Did you give her the phone back as well?
I did.
Do you see in front of you an object marked that states Exhibit 51?
Yes.
That is an envelope, right?
Right.
Do you know what's in that envelope?
USB device.
And what's on that USB device?
The Gray Key extraction.
Is it the same files that you pulled off of the defendant's phone on October 7th, 2022 and gave to Detective Cox?
Correct.
I expect we're going to hear testimony from Sergeant Coleman of the Chatham County Police Department that he had already performed a Cellbrite extraction on this phone.
Oh, never mind.
What was the
Cellbrite's in
difference,
court.
Just high level, right? Because none of us are forensics officers. Between the Cellbrite extraction that he performed and the Gray Key extraction that you did a couple days later.
So Gray Key is made specifically with iPhone in mind.
All right, so they got them both. The gray key, the Cellbrite is generally for all cell phone data, and gray key is specifically for iPhones. They did them both. We got 2 extractions from one phone. Just when you thought you wouldn't hear about Cellbrite.
So it's able to gain access to files that UFED or Cellbrite is not able to gain access to because its developers specifically focus on iPhone itself.
I would introduce at this time State's Exhibit 51 in the evidence room.
No objection, Your Honor.
One moment, please. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
When do we get to hear what's on them?
Mr. Williams, you just stated a minute ago, Officer Williams, that gray key is iPhone specific and Cellbrite is not. What are the differences between the two? I mean, what's like a file that a Cellbrite would extract or not extract that a gray key would?
Well, one that I can think of offhand is the keychain that it can extract. It can bypass the operating systems on a iPhone better than the Cellbrite because, like I said, the developers of the gray key unit put more specifics on the iPhone itself.
So, and I'm trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just genuinely trying to understand.
Oh my God!
So it sounds to me like a Cellbrite extraction.
If you've been watching this at least for the last 3 days, you know how I feel about this dumbass saying, "Not trying to put words in your mouth" every time. He can't go. I think he's only got like 2 witnesses without saying it. He said it like a bunch of times for individual witnesses. But oh my God, I hate that. I hate that. Anytime someone says, "I'm not trying to put words in your mouth," but they're trying to put words in your mouth. Anybody that says, "I'm not racist," but they're racist. Anyone that says, "I'm not trying to offend you," but they're trying to offend you.
Would get a lot less material than a gray key extraction would get.
Typically.
Okay. And is that the reason for running the gray key extraction is to get more specific?
To an iPhone, yes.
Okay. And when you do these extractions, I assume you just plug it into a USB device or some other port and the computers do what they do. And
so I actually hooked the phone up to the gray key unit based off the port that's connected to an iPhone. So I believe it's a USB-C now. So gray key has a USB-C that I can connect that phone to the gray key unit.
And it just generates this report and that's it. And then you send it along to the detective or whoever you send it to.
It gains access to the files on the phone, and it does give me a zip file that contains all that data from the phone.
And what I'm trying to narrow down is basically when you do the extraction, you take the phone, you plug it in, you do the extraction, you get a hard drive and you pass it along, correct?
Correct.
That's the extent of your involvement.
Right.
Did you review any of the extraction on this or just forward it like you normally do?
I just forwarded it to the detective that needed it.
That's all the questions I got. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Any read record, Mr. Dean?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right.
Statement, call its next witness.
Sergeant Gary Scott Coleman.
Gary Coleman? Gary Coleman is coming out. What you talking about, Willis? Gary Coleman? I used to have a button that was like, "What you talking about, Willis?" Now I have like a legitimate chance to use it, and I can't. Gary Coleman is taking the stand.
The evidence you shall give the court and the jury in the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dan. How are you? Thank you. Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, sir. My name is Sergeant Gary Scott Coleman. I work for the Chatham County Police Department. I am the supervisor of their crime scene unit. I started police work in 2002. This is my 23rd year. I have been doing forensic work since 2009. I was one of the 2 supervisors of Savannah-Chatham County Metro PD after the demerger. Because I was a previous county employee, I came back to start up the new county.
Now, I've seen Gary Coleman, and you look nothing like Gary Coleman. You're an imposter, sir. You're an imposter, sir. If you want me to believe you're really Gary Coleman, you got to say, "What you talking about, Willis?" Come on, do it. Do it.
Police, and that's where I've been since.
In October of 2022, were you heading up the Chatham County Police Department's forensics unit?
Yes, sir, I was.
Who did you have under you?
At that time, had Corporal Philip Schenker. A Corporal Matthew Diggins had just started on Monday, and this was a Wednesday, so he was brand new. And I had a Corporal Michelle Shiro, who her last day was Friday, so I wasn't using her for that.
Now, did the forensics unit? Well, let me ask you just a couple more questions about your background.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what, if any, training you have in the acquisition of digital evidence from?
And as Swan Lake Lady, a fellow Utahn like myself may know, Gary Coleman lived and died in Utah. So, yeah.
And analysis of
great success. Gary Coleman. Come on. Different strokes. What you talking about with us? Come on. You know Gary Coleman.
digital evidence?
Yes, sir. I have a certification from the Department of Homeland Security. FLETC is what they call it down in Brunswick. They like to use a lot of acronyms, so it's a Digital Evidence Acquisition Specialist. I also have a certification in the Department of Homeland Security in Glencoe in seized computer evidence recovery as well.
Now, every time you use an acronym, I'm going to have to ask you for the record what it stands for. What is FLETC? People may know.
FLETC is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, which is right near Brunswick.
Okay. Let's go back to October 5th.
Yes.
Did your forensics unit respond to 535 Buckhalter that day?
Yes, sir, we did.
And were you there in a supervisory capacity over what forensics was doing?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us the various things that you all did out there that day?
The main objective that day, because it was a missing child, was the department owns several drones. Myself and one other of my investigators has their FAA license to fly drone. We figured we could cover a lot more area. It borders Hunter Army Airfield. If you go a little bit further down Buckhalter, I had to call the Hunter Air Tower to see if we could clear the air because, the military doesn't really like anybody telling them what to do. So, but we got the air cleared so we could search. Batteries in these drones, they drain very fast. We have 4 sets and they do not charge very fast. So the mission lasted about an hour. It's equipped with a thermal device as well. We use the thermal during the day and we were not able to locate anybody. So we packed up and left.
At some point when you were out there, did y'all document the premises with photographs and so forth?
Corporal Schenker did.
Okay. Now, did you go to Chatham County Police Department headquarters?
Yes, after I left the scene.
And was that where the defendant and Daniel Youngkin and Paul Simon were being interviewed?
Yes, I was aware they were in the building.
Just for the record, is that building where they were interviewed on October 5th, is that in Chatham County?
Yes, sir, it is.
While you were present at Chatham County Police Department headquarters, were you asked to conduct any digital evidence acquisition?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I believe it was Detective Cox, Detective Jenny Cox, brought me 3 phones. She identified them as the defendant's phone, Paul Simon's phone, and Daniel's phone. We had a machine called, it's a company called Cellbrite. You probably heard that already. That company specializes in extracting certain kinds of information from cell phones.
Oh, Sharon Kovac, nice one, you fellow old.
Search phones, and I went ahead and
X in the chat if you remember Weebles wobble, but they don't fall. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. X in chat for Weebles.
Extracted all 3 of them, and then provided them back to Detective Cox when I was finished with them.
Now, how did you go about conducting the Cellbrite extractions on this phone? Can you just at a high level kind of walk us through the process?
So when you get a phone, it's always really good to have the code, and I believe they had provided the codes. The machine, it's basically like plugging it into a charger, for lack of a better. The machine is a box about that big. It also works with software on a computer, so it's plugged into a computer, and it will select the make and the model of the phone if it's in the catalog. Otherwise, you have to manually include it to put it in. Once you do that, you basically, there's a lot of technical stuff that you get into, but you make a folder, or you tell the computer where you want the extraction to go. And
oh my God, could you explain Cellbrite?
push the button,
Cellbrite by its very nature is boring. Can you make it
And you
any
said you
more
turn those
boring, please?
extractions around to the
Yes.
detectives?
So typically what I do is when I perform an extraction, it comes out as a UFD file. If you're familiar with Microsoft or what have you, it'll come out as a
Somehow it sounds
.doc
weirder
file,
when this guy
like a
talks
.file,
about doing an
or Excel
extraction.
spreadsheet's a .excel file. This will come out as a .ufd. It's a proprietary that Cellbrite, the company, has. Typically, I will do as my workflow, other people might do it differently, but my workflow is I will go ahead and initiate a report. The machine then goes ahead and does a UFD report. A lot of our detectives in our department like to be able to work off the computer instead of looking at a 400-page PDF document. So that's what we do. We go ahead and just do the report on a UFD file. They come and bring us a jump drive or a small, external drive, and we then copy it over there, an exact copy over there.
When a detective gets one of these Cellbrite extractions from you and opens up the UFD file, what can you, because we've been talking all about this, we haven't actually seen it.
Yeah.
What are they looking at? Like, what,
Chat, you guys make me laugh so damn hard. We've gone from talking about muscle cars to obscure toys from the late 60s and early 70s.
what does it look like?
Pay attention.
Cellbrite extraction as a detective?
So there is a reader program that the Cellbrite will put into the folders, and think about it like Adobe Reader. Okay, like you might not have the full-blown version of Adobe Acrobat, but you'll have, the Adobe Reader. It's a light version. It comes up as kind of a dashboard.
Oh,
It shows
daily quick bites. You think we were easily amused by Weebles? Go search for Spirograph. Go search for Spirograph commercials. You'll see just how fucking easily we were entertained drawing circles.
What it looks like, the make, the model, serial number, phone number. There are a few other identifier numbers that the carrier uses to identify that number on their network so they can bill you.
Oh, hell yeah. It's
properly.
Stretch Armstrong and Stretch
But they're
Monster.
very specific
Stretch
numbers.
Monster had green
And,
shit inside
then
of him.
on the
and
left-hand side
Stretch
of the
Armstrong had
screen,
blue
you'll
shit
see such
inside of him.
things as the calendar, and you can click on calendar and it'll show you if anybody had put calendar invites or booked any kind of dates. MMS for multimedia messages. We call it texting. Things used to be SMS texting where you could send pictures and stuff, but if you have an Android, it's generally green. If you have an iPhone, it's blue. You can text pictures, things like that. That's why we call it multimedia.
Now, do you see in front of you an object marked as States Exhibit 52?
Yes.
Do you know what's in that envelope?
Yes, it is I believe it to be a thumb drive that says Cellbrite Extractions. It has my last name. It has my initials and the date of 10/4/24.
And is that the date that you reviewed the contents of that thumb drive?
Yes, sir, it is.
And what is on that thumb drive?
This is it's a dump of one of the 3 phones that I did.
Is it one or is it all 3? And we can, if you want to, if you need to plug it into the computer, we can do that.
I could do it if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Come on in.
Then we watch Great Space Coaster. Great Space Coaster, get on board. The Great Space Coaster. Yeah. Great Space Coaster was awesome. I'm glad we could just talk about this weird shit while he's going through all the boring details of what the hell Cellbrite is. Operation. You killed him. Oh, Kerplunk. Wow. I had the Fisher Price farmhouse. Hell yeah.
All right, have you now reviewed the contents of State's Exhibit 52?
Yes, sir, I have.
Can you tell us what's on it?
Yes, it is the,
And I've just, every day this court reporter is fire with her hat and sweater ensemble. I just got to say that.
State's Exhibit 52.
yes, sir, I have.
Can you tell us what's on it?
Yes, it is the extraction of LEILANI Simon.
Oh, good. We finally get to see the
Daniel
extraction.
Youngkin's cell phones.
And are those the extractions that you performed on October 5th?
Yes, sir.
And are those the extractions that you turned around
Master.
to the detectives?
Yes.
Your Honor, I call for this as State's Exhibit 52.
Great babe, great babe.
If
Great
it's admitted
babe.
without objection.
Now, do you see in front of you a
Gorilla,
document
gorilla
marked as
for
State's Exhibit
sale.
53?
Yes,
How
sir.
much is
Can
that
you flip through that
gorilla in
and
the window?
let me know when you're ready to talk about it?
Yes, sir.
All right. As soon as he starts talking about what the fuck is actually on the Cellbrite data, we'll pay attention to it. Until then, get all the 70s toys out of your system, olds. Captain Caveman. Exactly. Oh, two of you thinking right at the same time.
Okay.
All right. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
All right, here we go,
It's
people.
actually the
Pay
first
attention
page
now.
that what I was describing a few minutes ago. It's the first page that you'll look at on a UFD reader.
Okay, time out. I'm so sorry for being this ADHD here right now with 354 people here going, would you just shut the fuck up and play the video? I can't go past AT1 CB41 and the jarts. Holy shit. If you're old, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're young, there was a day when like product liability didn't exist and companies didn't give a fuck about your personal safety. Jarts were literally this quote unquote game where you had like a hula hoop on your side of the lawn and your opponent, I guess, had a hula hoop on his side of the lawn. And you had these things called jarts that you would throw up into the air and try to get into your opponent's hula hoop to which they were standing near. And what a jart was essentially a fucking spear. It was a projectile about yay long that had like missile fins on it. It had 4 plastic missile fins on it and a sharpened steel point about this long. And you would underhand lob that son of a bitch into the air. It would go up towards your opponent and you would try to not hit your opponent and get it into their circle. Those lawn darts, the jarts, they were fucking spears you would throw at your best friend or family members. Toy manufacturers gave 0 fucks about your personal health and safety back in the 70s. We need t-shirts saying I survived jarts. Real quickly here, we had jarts, which were like no shit. They were spearheaded sharpened metal spearheads attached to fins for stability you would throw at your friends. I was just gonna get to that slidey pie over on Rumble. Mention click clacks. I was gonna mention 3 toys of the 70s that made no fucking sense at all. Jarts were one. Click clacks, these clackers, they were essentially just like these giant marbles, like these giant glass balls about this big, 2 of them attached to a string, and you would like go, you would like move the stick up and down, and they would go clack, 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 clack. You would get bleeding knuckles, broken knuckles. You just go clack, 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 clack. They were like the little rubber balls on like the paddle balls, but they were made like these giant glass balls. Clackers were fucking, oh my God, the hand damage you would get from those. And the other the other toy I was gonna mention, and the guys will know more about this than the girls. The Evel Knievel racer things. Yeah, the Evel Knievel motorcycle. You would put on this hand crank. You would crank with your hand, and then the Evel Knievel motorcycle would allegedly shoot down your driveway and jump off a jump. It never got very far. But this wheel was so big that every time you would crank this wheel, you would grind your knuckles against the concrete of the sidewalk or the driveway. And the amount of skin and blood I left on my driveway from that stupid Evel Knievel motorcycle thing was horrific. So yeah, that's what I did during my childhood. We would throw these sharpened metal projectiles at each other, break our own knuckles with these click-clacks, and leave all of the skin on our knuckles behind playing with our stupid Evel Knievel wheelie things. Oh yeah, the commercial for the Evel Knievel toy was way fucking better than that stupid toy. Absolutely. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just got ADHD'd back to my childhood for that. I apologize. I promise we won't do that anymore until the next time. And Mama Laurie with the $5 says Speed Racer, the original, and the Banana Splits. Yeah, the original Speed Racer was the Banana Splits, where I had a Banana Splits lunchbox. That was my first lunchbox I took to kindergarten, was the Banana Splits lunchbox. That was awesome. And I had like I had the Banana Splits lunchbox, and then later I had the $6 Million Man lunchbox. Danny Simmons, that's not what I understood clackers to be. Yeah, those were clackers. They were fucking horrible. I don't know what you understood them to be, but those clackers were the pre-nunchuck era. The nunchucks replaced the clackers in doing damage to yourself for no good reason. All right, let's go.
After you've extracted a phone, I can see that it is the first page is.
God damn it! Stop it, people! Stop it! Star Blazers was awesome. As Flux, I know she's recovering from like oral surgery. But dude, in her world of Minecraft, I have a full-size space battleship Yamato that I made Mrs. Flux build for me. Starblaze, I'm a huge fan. The Yamato is like one of my most awesomest things. And Battle of the Planets, every day I would come home and watch, like from middle school, watch Battle of the Planets and eat a bowl of ramen every damn day. That was my childhood. Watching Battle of the Planets with Casey Kasem as there's Tiny, Jason Keops, and Princess, and Casey Kasem played Mark. So it was like listening to American Top 40 every day with Mark. Anyway, I'm sorry.
iPhone
I've lost
XS
viewers
Max.
just because of this. Let's go.
The Apple ID is simonleilani2@gmail.com. The second is a Android SM S134DL. Samsung likes to use weird things for their phone names. It does not appear to have, because it's not an Apple, it doesn't have an email address associated with it. It's an Android phone.
Can you tell the phone number of that phone from looking at that screenshot?
Man.
Do you see a field on there, MSISDN?
That's it. 910. You have to forgive me. My eyes are not what they used to be. 910-729-1458.
Had them in kindergarten.
Screenshot of Daniel, first opening frame of Daniel Youngkin's.
Yes, it's a Samsung.
And then what about the third thing?
The third is another Android operating system phone. It is
Moon Boots.
Motorola G Pure.
You did not really have moon boots unless your mother put your feet in Wonder Bread bags before you put your moon boots on. Just saying.
The phone number is 912-658-6410.
And would that be Paul's?
That is going to be Paul Simon's phone.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 53.
Objection.
And I want to publish these and just briefly have you kind of walk us on to where you're seeing this stuff, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the clackers were. Yeah, yeah, Antoinette, that's what the clackers were. There were those goddamn resin gigantic table grape things. Oh God. We're just about ready. I mean, seriously, when they start talking about something important, we'll shut the fuck up. And we've lost like 60 people because of my reminiscence. Don't leave, chat. I promise we'll listen to the testimony once they stop talking about extracting data and
So this is the first page. We're gonna zoom
actually
way in.
get onto what they talk about.
In this pink box right here, do you see some dates there?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
What do those dates refer to?
Those are the dates when the extraction started and then when the extraction was over with.
All right, we see October 5th there.
Yes, sir.
And this is for which phone now?
This is for the iPhone XX Max, which I believe was LEILANI Simon's phone.
All right, moving down a little bit. The Apple ID indicates as much.
Yes,
Yes,
Wonder
you have to
Bread
put
bags.
an email
If you know,
address
you know. You had to put the Wonder Bread bags on before you put your boots on.
An email address associated with it.
All right, and is there somewhere on this list of identifiers where we can see what the phone number is?
Yes, right there. The MSISDN. It's area code 912-547-5275.
Okay. In this bit, it says examiner name.
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
That would be me.
Exactly,
Move on to the
Bridget.
second page.
Horrible. Your children should be fucking ashamed.
This also indicates that this extraction was performed on the 5th
Yes, sir, it does.
by you.
Yes, sir.
And the MSISDN.
It is 910-729-458.
1458.
1458. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I should have zoomed in more for you. MSISDN is essentially the phone number.
Yes, sir. It's the carrier phone number.
And slide 3, also October 5th.
Yes, sir, it is.
Also you as the examiner.
Yes, sir.
And phone number here is
912-658-6410.
okay.
Tammy with the $2 talking balls, Jeff. Lol.
All right. Were you involved in the collection of some video footage in this case?
Yes, sir, I was.
And have you prepared a presentation that stitches together some of the relevant video?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you go out and collect video, are you collecting only the relevant 1 or 2 minutes, or are you collecting like a broader swath?
We can have a range the detectives will have us pull. I typically will do an hour before, an hour after, just
Waffle
in case we don't get
stompers.
something.
Hell yeah, I had a
Um,
couple pairs of
we
those.
were through detective information, we were able to kind of narrow down a time frame a little bit less.
Hell yeah.
Now, the presentation that you've prepared, where does it contain video footage from? What locations?
It contains footage from
Any of you girls old enough to remember Mrs.
Zelle
Beasley?
Mobile Park. First of all, the rental, I guess the mobile home, which is used as a rental home office, and real time auto,
Just new ride auto?
new ride auto. That is it. New
So
ride auto.
It was a shoe that looked like a hiking boot.
Yes,
It's a thing.
Now, do you see in front of you an exhibit marked that states Exhibit 54?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell from the envelope what that is?
Yes.
What is that?
These are copies of videos that we pulled from Azalea Mobile Home Park.
All right. And what about States Exhibit 56?
This is the new ride auto video with a certificate inside of it from the owner saying that it was properly working.
Your Honor, I would introduce these exhibits as 54 and 56.
No objection.
54, 56, Sergeant.
All right, so those exhibits are just the a raw copy of all the surveillance footage that you collected from those places,
Yes, sir.
which may be on the order of hours.
Yes.
Okay. Now, 57, what is that? State's Exhibit 57. And actually, I think up there was
57A.
57A and 57B.
This is the PowerPoint, the presentation that was put together, a disc.
And what about 57B?
Dapper Dan. Wow. Oh, we had Miss Julie. It was Miss
Is it just a
Julie.
printout of this?
It is a
on
printout of the
Romper Room,
presentation.
where I was from.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the components of this PowerPoint presentation, okay? Does
Oh,
it
let's just
include
get to the
video clips from
PowerPoint
these two
presentation so we can
locations?
shut up about 70s toys.
Does it include some photographs of these, of Azalea that were taken by your forensics?
Yes, sir, it does.
And does it include some screenshots from Google Maps to help orient the jury on where these cameras are located and which direction?
I still have all the books in my parents'
Your Honor, at this
storage
time I would
facility.
introduce this as State's Exhibit 57.
No objection.
57 is admitted to evidence.
And I would ask the publisher at this time, Your Honor.
You may just.
All right, let's watch this PowerPoint presentation and stop talking about fucking. Oops. Knocking over alcohol bottles. Sound like another former streamer. Yeah, wow. All right, let's watch this PowerPoint presentation and stop talking about toys. Pay attention. What's up, Orville?
All right. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, can you just kind of summarize broadly for us
Yes, sir.
what this presentation and the video footage contained in it are going to show as to the defendant's movement shortly after 1 a.m. on October 5th?
Yes, sir, I can. Would it help to stand our point?
Sure. Yeah, you can stand up.
So the video is concentrated in this area right here.
I'm just going to ask you, Sergeant, if you can just be mindful of keeping your voice up. We have
Electric
to
Company, where Morgan Freeman got his
This is the
start.
area that the video was collected from. The New Ride Auto is almost right on the corner of Buckhalter and 17 or Beachy Road. The way the Google map did it was it took you to the center of Azalea Mobile Home Park, but the office is approximately right here.
Okay.
And what's it going to show in terms of what that vehicle did? Just tight summary.
It shows it come in.
Okay, now everybody, seriously, all fucking around aside, this is an important part here. They've extracted the Cellbrite data. He's explained how it all works. Now he's showing that it shows her not going to the Chevron station across the street, but going to the dumpsters in this trailer park project where she allegedly threw away the body of her 20-month-old son and explained to the cops that she went there because she was throwing away stinky pasta. Sorry to like be a buzzkill, but we're actually getting down to the proof that she was at the dumpster where the child's body was disposed of.
Shows it come in the main road and continue down. And we lose track of it. It goes out of frame somewhere in here. And then we pick up a vehicle over on the exit. And then we see it come and then exit as a mobile home park. It makes a left-hand turn, makes another left-hand turn at Buckhalter Road where New Ride Auto is about right here. They have a camera pointing this way, and you can see it head south on Buckhalter.
Back in the direction of 535 Buckhalter?
Yes, sir.
Now, is this video footage going to show that vehicle stationary at the dumpsters for any period of time during that trip?
Yes, sir.
For about how long, give or take?
Could have been 35, 45 seconds.
1 moment, please. All right, so with that preview, slide 1, what are we looking at here? What does this show?
So this is just an overall map of the area from 535 Buckhalter Road to Azalea Mobile Home Park. Google Maps is estimating that it takes 7 minutes and 2.7 miles.
Buckhalter Road is the L shape here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so even though there's a turn there, does it remain Buckhalter Road?
Yes, sir. It's a pretty sizable dog leg to the right.
Now this road running kind of diagonal on the top left, this larger road, what is that?
That is Ogeechee Road. Some people call it Highway. Well, it's a U.S. Highway 17, but a lot of locals call it Ogeechee Road.
You said that the video footage is concentrated in this area at the top, like the Buckhalter Ogeechee Road intersection?
Yes, sir.
Now moving on to the next slide, where have we moved here?
So this is the intersection of Buckhalter Road and Highway 17 or Ogeechee Road. That is where the new ride auto is approximately right here. There is La Camas. My Spanish isn't good. It's a Hispanic restaurant and grocery store right here.
Okay.
And then you head down and take.
All right, real quick, the Japanese Yakuza sending the 200 sexy Swedish monies. Had a bad day at work today. Sent a picture on Twitter. That is a bad car accident, brother, man. Holy crap. I hope you're okay. Jesus. Holy cow. That's rough. And Heather Sparrow with the 5 gifted Legal Vices memberships. If you happen to be one of those 5 peeps, make sure you give her a super, super special thanks. And let's see, who would those 5 people be? I can't see here. Joy W101, Weird Debbie, Weird Debbie M, Margie Childers, Evie, and Greg Slam Fist. You guys are awesome. You guys got the Legal Vices gifted memberships from Heather Sparrow. Give her a super special thanks. Thank you so very much for that. All right, let's pin this bitch down to throwing her baby in the dumpster so we can get her convicted.
Okay, right at 4711 to go past a Chevron station that's right here, and that takes you directly into Zeta Mobile Home Park.
Now, the next slide, does this slide show the locations of the buildings from which you obtained the video footage?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. And can we see Ogeechee Road in this image?
Yes, it is the 4-lane with a divider running almost horizontally at the top of the screen.
And do you see the marker there for New Ride Auto?
Yes, sir.
Is that Buckhalter Road immediately to the left of that?
Yes, sir, that is. It's running north and south at that point from the vantage point you have.
Now, can we see the Chevron in this image?
Yes, sir.
And where is it? I'm sorry I keep
It's
asking
all
you to get up, but that might be the easiest way to do it.
So this is the Chevron convenience store. These are the gas pumps for the Chevron station. Again, the store, gas pumps for the Chevron station.
Okay, for the record, that's trying to think of the best way to do this. That would be above the left side of the yellow marker for the Azalea Management Office. If you go along the left side of that marker and go up, you see the white square, and that's the Chevron. And then above that is the parking lot and pumps for the Chevron.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, this next slide, what intersection is this?
This is the intersection of Buckhalter Road, which is running north and south vertically across the screen. That is Ogeechee Road, Highway 17 running horizontally.
And do you see that structure with the yellow arrow pointing off of it?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, that yellow arrow is something that we added, right, in PowerPoint?
Yes.
And what does that arrow signify?
That arrow signifies a camera that is mounted on that building.
And what is that building again?
That is a New Ride Auto.
Where does that camera point?
It points towards the primarily Buckhalter Road. On the
Oh, what have I done here?
Okay.
And
Okay, so now this is how we got the video of her chucking her kid in the dumpster. Oh God, that's just a terrible sentence to even say. Ugh.
The entrance to Buckhalter.
Now, this next slide, can we back out to where we see both of the structures that we're going to talk about footage from, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the next slide, you mentioned that you got camera footage from cameras mounted on the management shed at Azalea.
Yes.
I'm now advancing again, so we see one arrow on the left side kind of pointing up. Do you see how that arrow is sort of on the edge of a white structure?
Yes, sir.
What is that white structure?
The white structure is the rental office for Azalea Mobile Home Park.
And what does that yellow arrow signify?
It is pointing in the direction of the camera, which we downloaded video from.
Okay, so does this yellow arrow signify one of the cameras from which you obtained video footage at that place?
Yes, sir.
Now, the monitoring system where you can look at the footage from these cameras, where is that?
It is located inside the rental office.
The same building that the cameras are hanging off of?
Yes, sir.
I've advanced again. Now we see a second yellow arrow pointing more or less in the other direction, right?
Yes, sir.
What does this arrow signify?
So this arrow signifies a second camera that is pointed down the entrance road to Azalea Mobile Home Park.
All right, so we're at 2 Azalea cameras now, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you were to travel, south on that road, would you pass through the frame of one camera and into the frame of another pretty much immediately?
Yes, sir. They're very close together.
There you go. Does that help?
And now we see a third arrow pointing.
Does that help? We see the arrows. I was looking at the arrows. You just weren't, because they're behind me. Now, what they did here is there just happened to be a camera pointing at this dumpster where she pulled up and threw stuff away. That's why they were saying, look, we've got you on camera throwing shit in the dumpster, baby. And that's when she came up with this brilliant idea that she wasn't throwing away the corpse of her murdered 20-month-old son. She was throwing away stinky shrimp pasta that had been left in the car. That's how she described her murdered child to the detective. Stinky shrimp pasta that was stinking up her car. And they just happened to have this camera that was focused on the dumpster.
Kind of like down and to the right and down a little bit on this slide. What does that arrow signify?
That is the third camera that we pulled video from. If you follow the arrow down and to the right, you might see this. You might see this greenish area, this brownish area.
Like in the extreme bottom right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what is there?
That is where the waste collection point is, the dumpsters for the community.
What is this? You see this? What looks like a white car here?
Yes.
All right. And then above that, the white structure that you described as the management office, I think.
Yes, sir.
What is this sort of triangular area here?
It's kind of a maintenance yard. They appear to keep maintenance equipment in there, what have you, skid steers, just different types of maintenance equipment.
And is this yard bounded by a fence?
Yes, it is.
Can you describe that fence?
I call it a hurricane fence. It's a metal fence. And of note was that it had some green slats running through it.
And this triangular yard here, just north of that white maintenance shed, what's it bounded by on the other side of the fence?
Show me.
What is this here?
Oh, that is the exit road to Azalea Mobile Home Park.
Okay, so is it fair to say that if you want to come into Azalea, you come down this road here?
Yes.
On the left?
Yes.
And then if you want to get out, you can go out this way?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Is this a one-way street or two-way street?
It is a one-way street.
Okay, so it's a two-way street or a one-way street to exit?
Yes.
Okay. And dumpsters are over here in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes, sir.
What is the field of view like from this camera that's oriented in the direction of the maintenance yard and the dumpster? If you look at footage from that camera, what are you looking at?
You can look down the road. There is a fence, obviously the fence we've been talking about, but if you look right to the top of the fence, you will be able to see a lot further down the road.
If you come in on that entrance road, it's on kind of the left side of the frame, is it possible in Azalea to do sort of a complete loop that takes you out on the exit road that you described?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said earlier that's sort of how you're supposed to go in.
That's how you're supposed to, yes, sir.
Now, I've gone back to where we're only looking at this. I've advanced to where we're looking at the single arrow pointed up. And that signifies the first camera that you were talking about, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. In this next slide where we see, it looks like we're looking at the monitor for a security system and an iPhone. What are we looking at here?
So that is the camera from the arrow that y'all just saw on the Google map, pointing towards, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the Chevron station building. And out here, we'll see a Beachy Road.
You're indicating towards the top right of
Yes,
the
sir.
image. So does this camera capture cars entering Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, sir, it does.
And we heard testimony from Officer Schenker. And Your Honor, I'm sorry, I did not ask permission. May I remain seated at this point?
And if you need any time that you're operating in this way, you can remain seated.
Thank you, Your Honor. He testified that the time stamp on the Azalea cameras was off by it was like 80, 81 minutes slow. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir, I do. 80, 81 minutes because the phone does not give the seconds like the video does.
Okay. So this is the field of view from that first camera that we've talked about.
Yes, sir.
Now, I've advanced to the next slide. We see that arrow pointing down and to the left a little bit. That's the second camera that you described for us, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Or I should say the second Azalea camera that you described for us. This next slide, what are we seeing here?
This is the field of view from the camera that we just spoke of with the yellow arrow. It is right next to the other camera that points towards the Chevron station. This points towards the back-ish. I mean, as you
they will be.
Azalea,
They will be BVM McD.
I believe the first
Hell.
that goes off to the right in that field of view.
And is that first row that goes off to the right, is that visible right there, kind of beyond that truck?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this.
Bless you, Sharon.
Because you've mentioned that. I'm going to pull up what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 35.
And I don't want to get this too far gone, so I'll take a quick little break here. The Japanese Yakuza said had a bad day at work today, sent a picture on Twitter, and you can show the picture. Thank you so much again for the 200 sexy Swedish monies. You can show the picture. It's all right with me. This really quickly is the accident that our very own the Japanese Yakuza 1 was involved in earlier today. Where'd it go? Here it is. That's icky. We got your car there with serious front end damage and a couple cars behind you. I'm glad you're okay. Here to talk about it seriously. All right, let's thank you so much for that. And again, Heather Sparrow in the middle of all that. Thank you so much for your 5 memberships we mentioned. Let's bring the court back up. I'm seriously glad you're here to talk about that, Japanese Yakuza.
Do you see this?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Does that indicate what it looks like if you take a right turn on that road you just mentioned?
It appears to be.
Okay. All right. Back to your presentation. I'm on slide 10 here. And I'll try to get us all on slide 10.
This is the snoring you're hearing. Strawberry that's snoring. Sup, Orville? Kudos to this guy for having a never-ending supply of bow ties, though. All right, while they're doing that, let's just kind of... Oh, never mind.
While you're preparing that, we need to take a short break. The time now is 11:30. Let's make this a short break. It's a 10-minute break. Okay, we'll be back at 11:40. And of course, please don't discuss the case with anyone and don't do any research. Thank you. We're recess.
All right, they're going to take a little bit of a break. Let's see what we're looking like. How close are we to lunch? 2:45 to it's Friday. Fuck it. We'll go to the lunch break. So we got about 30 more minutes. Then they're gonna take a lunch break. We'll go to the lunch break. So let's skip this break here.
Yes.
And this is
all right. Where are we? Here we go.
All right. Thank you, Williams.
We'll take it to the lunch.
And please have a seat. There haven't been any discussions about the case. No research as well, correct? Okay. Mr. Dean.
all right. So we're on slide 11, and this is that arrow that signifies the third camera at Azalea that we talked about, the one that's oriented into that maintenance yard and kind of catches the dumpsters in the distance.
Yes, sir.
And we've got the dumpsters marked there, right?
Yes.
All right. This next slide, slide 12, what are we looking at here?
So again, as previously, we wanted to show the time difference. So obviously we have the cell phone. We also had a detective outside within view on this particular shot that shows the times are the same, and then you can see the timestamp up at the top.
Now, is this the field of view for the camera that we were just talking about?
It's as close as we could get to it. We had it up in the air, and I think it's probably a little bit better view from the camera than what we're seeing here out the window. What we were trying to prove in this image was the time difference.
Okay. We are looking at a monitor here, though, right?
Yes.
All right. So this shows the orientation of that camera?
Yes, sir, it does.
Can you describe to us where that fence is that you were talking about earlier?
Yes, sir, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
So what I described as metal hurricane fence is this. It goes all the way around. You might be able to see barbed wire at the top, and you can just see different types of, equipment, heavy equipment that's there.
And where are the dumpsters in this field of view?
Because I've examined it a lot, this dumpsters are roughly in this area right here. It's almost above. You see the skid steer's cat, and then
Hey, I'm class of 87 too.
Traffic sign.
Basically, the same thing happened to me. I feel for you.
Okay, so it's like the extreme top right of the field of view.
Yes, sir.
Where's that exit road, the one-way exit road that runs along the top of that maintenance yard in this
The exit road would be running here, and then as you see the fence, it would be running past this fence right here.
So does this camera catch vehicles exiting Azalea using that exit road?
Yes, it does.
Now, this is a photograph that I think is already introduced into evidence through Officer Schenker. This is just and I think he identified it as a photograph that was taken with the camera essentially under the video camera that we're talking about.
I'll make sure in camera speak that it was as close to what the human eye sees. That's called a 55 millimeter zoom. So I had him put his camera at 55 millimeter. It's as close as field of view that humans can get. But as you see, it's higher than the previous picture. Again, I'll bring your attention to the cat skid steer. Here's the sign. If you see this white vehicle right here, this is the assistant manager's vehicle of the mobile home park. Parked right there, and the dumpster. It's kind of hard to see for y'all, probably a ways away, but you can actually see some brownish.
Okay, so the dumpster's behind the cat.
Where the dumpsters are. We did not have her park there, by the way. She just happened to be there.
Moving on to the next slide. This is also a photograph that has been admitted through the testimony of Officer Schenker. Is that the white car sitting next to the dumpsters that you were just talking about?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is it in the same place in this image as it was in the last image?
It appears to be.
In other words, it hadn't moved.
No, sir.
All right. So now let's actually watch this footage, okay? We back out and we see the two source buildings, I guess I'll call them, New Ride Auto and the Azalea Management Office. This is slide 15. Slide 16, this is that New Ride Auto camera again.
Yes, sir, it is.
And then slide 17. This is a video clip, right?
Yes, sir. This is
Oh no.
Angle from New Ride Auto pointing
Oh
towards
no.
the Coulter. And you can also see a little bit of 17.
And what time is this footage from?
I
Time
need a
stamp
drink
says
for this.
16 and 15 seconds on Wednesday.
October 5th, 2022.
Yes.
All right. And what are we going to see in this clip?
You're going to see a vehicle pass through your view. on the road.
Which road is it going to be on initially?
Buckhalter.
And what direction is it going to be traveling?
It's going to be traveling northbound or towards Ageechee Road.
And when it hits that intersection of Buckhalter and Ageechee Road, what is it going to do?
It will take a right.
And what type of vehicle does it appear to you to be?
It appears to be a Dodge Journey, a light colored Dodge Journey.
Now, this series of video clips is in chronological order of when the events occurred, correct?
Yes, sir, they are.
So at this point, that Dodge Journey is taking a right onto Ageechee Road from Buckhalter Road, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, moving to slide 18, we see the two source buildings marked again. In slide 19, this shows the position and orientation of the first camera that we're going to see footage from, correct?
Yes, sir, it does.
Now, can we see the overhang for the Chevron pumps up there in the top left area?
Yes, sir, in the top right, top left.
And are those some U-Hauls next to that kind of reflecting?
Yes, I think at the time they were running U-Hauls at that establishment.
In that timestamp that says 23:56, that's 80 to 81 minutes slow, correct?
Yes, sir.
It says 23:56 and you add 80 to 81 minutes, you get like 1:17 a.m. or so.
Yes, sir.
On October 5th, 2022, right?
Yes, sir.
And what is this clip going to show?
It's going to show a vehicle approach from the left side of the screen, and then it will make a right-hand turn on the entrance to Azalea Mobile Home Park.
Does it appear to be the same vehicle as in the last clip we just watched?
It does.
And this would have been just seconds after that clip we just watched, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, slide 21, this signifies the camera pointing the other way.
Yes, sir, it does.
And I think you mentioned earlier that a vehicle driving into Azalea would pass through the field of view of the camera we just watched footage from into the field of view of this camera.
Yes, sir.
Now, the next slide, what are we going to see here?
You're going to see a vehicle enter from the right-hand side of the screen and then go all the way across the screen and exit the left-hand side of the screen.
Now, we looked at that image earlier of that right turn that you can take with the red arrows.
Yes, sir.
And can you see that street where you would take a right? That's in this frame.
Yes, sir, it does.
Does the vehicle take a right on that road or not?
No, it does not.
And does the vehicle that we're about to see seem to be the same one from the previous vehicle?
It seems to myself, it seems to be the same vehicle.
Yeah, this clip would just be like a second or two after that one.
Yes, yes.
Same vehicle.
The cameras are right next to each other.
Oh, God. There's a dead baby in that car. Fuck.
Now, you mentioned earlier that if you drive in this way that we've just watched this car do, you can make a loop and take that one-way exit road?
Yes, sir. It's a loop. There's several roads that bisect it, but you have to go to that other road to exit.
Is this the way we just saw this car drive? Is that the way that you would drive to make that loop?
Yes.
That takes you past the dumpsters and to that one-way exit road?
That is the full loop. Yes, sir.
Now, what is this here?
Appears to be a still image of the vehicle that we just watched on the video.
And what is this next slide here, slide 24?
This is a Dodge Journey that is sitting in, I believe, the technical garage of the FBI building.
Is that the Dodge Journey that was towed from 535 Buckhalter?
Yes, sir, it is.
Does that Dodge Journey that was towed from the house and photographed at the FBI office, does that appear to be consistent with the vehicle that we're seeing in this security footage?
Yes, sir, it does. I pay particular attention to what we call the back.
Yeah, it's the
part,
same
and the
car.
slant and the angle. There's
It's the
certain things
same
you look
car.
at when you've been looking at cars for a very long time on video that you try to key in on, even though the video is somewhat pixelated. The tire, the area of the tire appears to be the same. The angle of the light appears to be the same.
Now, this next slide, slide 25, this signifies the location of that camera that catches the dumpsters in the top of the front field of view.
Yes.
Now, what are we going to see here?
So what you're going to see here is you're going to see some brightness, and I'll stand.
Sure, yeah.
You're going to see some brightness. Again, I'll bring your attention to this cat skid steer. Here's the fallen down traffic sign. Again, you're looking in this area right here. And that's kind of warrants you.
And you said you're going to see some brightness. Does it appear to you to be vehicle headlights?
Yes, it does.
And are those vehicle headlights moving continuously throughout this video clip or not?
No, sir, they're not.
Can you tell us for about how long they appear to be stationary?
I think I said earlier, I misspoke. I believe it's probably around 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 seconds, something like that.
And based on the pictures that we've looked at so far, what area of the Zelle Mobile Home Plaza do those apparent vehicle headlights appear to be stationary at for 2 minutes or so?
Judging by where they're stationary and knowing what I knew from the white vehicle being parked there, I believe it to be in the area of the dumpsters.
Now, initially, when you're just seeing headlights stationary in the area of the dumpsters, are you able to tell what vehicle that is at that point?
No, sir.
Is there a point in this video clip where you do get a good look at that vehicle?
Yes, sir. I believe so. If the jury remembers, I spoke of a hurricane fence and the slats going through them. These are, angled green slats. We've probably all seen them at construction sites. It's supposed to somewhat obscure what's behind the fence. But when a vehicle or when anything is moving behind it, you get an idea better when that object is moving. So you'll see right in here.
What is the vehicle doing at that point? Which direction is it headed? What road is it on? And so
It's headed towards the exit.
Is it on that one-way exit road you described?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, that runs along the top side of that yard?
Yes, sir, it does.
Now, when you get a look at it at that point, does it appear to you to be the same vehicle that we've been seeing in all these other video clips?
It does.
With that preview, I'll go ahead and play the video clip on slide 26 here. Now, at this point, we're about halfway into this video clip. At this point, do those headlights appear to be stationary in the area of the dumpsters?
Yes, sir.
When they appear to start moving to you and making that movement that you were describing to us, will you just let us know and kind of narrate to us what that vehicle is doing and where it's heading?
Okay, it's now moving. As you can tell, there's some light shining off the building, and obviously you see now the car comes into view. You can see it pass what appears to be the same vehicle, a crossover vehicle, which is what a Dodge jury is classified as, a crossover.
And which direction, like where would this vehicle be heading at this point?
Logically, it'd be heading out, exiting the Azalea Mobile Home Park.
Towards Ogeechee Road?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next slide, slide 27, this is the first Azalea camera that we talked about, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
This is the one that captures the entrance from Ogeechee Road of vehicles going into Azalea and the exit from Azalea onto Ogeechee Road of vehicles leaving, correct?
Yes, sir, it does.
And this next slide, slide 28, is the footage from that camera, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
And what are we going to see here?
And just listen to his voice. I mean, just listen to this. Just listen to his voice. This detective's voice it's just already defeated. I mean, he's just like, yes, it is. Is this video camera? This video shows this, right? Yes, it does. Yes, this is what it is. He's just defeated. Ugh. I hate this.
You're going to see a car come in from the right-hand side of the screen, make a right-hand turn, and then up at Ogeechee Road or Highway 17, you'll see it make a left-hand turn.
Now, initially, when you see, I guess, the headlights of that car or maybe the car itself, what road is it going to be on? Is it going to be on that one-way exit road?
Yes. It's kind of a triangle, but it's on the exit part of it.
And it's going to make a right onto the Azalea Road that comes off of Ogeechee and then a left onto Ogeechee Road itself?
Yes, sir, it will.
Does it come to a complete stop?
Yes, it is coming and it is signaling that it's going to turn to the left. And now it's turned.
No. From the footage that we've watched to this point, did that vehicle appear to stop at the Chevron on the way in or
No.
on the way out from Azalea?
No, sir, it did not.
Now, did you also get video footage from the Chevron itself?
We did pull video from the Chevron station.
And did you look at that video footage to see whether it somehow showed the vehicle stopping
Hey,
at the
Mike.
Chevron station on either end of the strip?
It showed what this video shows.
Does it essentially just show it driving by the Chevron? to
Yes,
get
sir,
to
it does.
Azalea, and then later out of Azalea?
Yes.
Now, moving on to slide 30, we're back at New Ride Auto here, right?
Yes, sir, we are.
The Ogeechee Road Buckalter intersection.
Yes.
I had to check to see
What
we
are
were
we
still
gonna
on
see in this video?
1.25 speed. These guys are talking
You'll
so
see a vehicle
slow.
approach from the right-hand side of the screen, and it will make a left-hand turn onto Buckalter Road.
Does it appear to be the same vehicle?
Oh, damn it. They're getting close to the
It appears to
dumpster.
be.
1:22 in the morning.
A little glitchy. Let's try that again, see if it works better.
It worked fine.
What time
Meme
are we at?
Copium raid. Holy crap.
It is,
Meme Copium went
1:20.
late tonight. Damn. Meme Copium raid. Welcome, Meme Copium raiders. It's good to see you here. Thank you so very much for raiding. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on your way in here, peoples. We're just about ready to watch a horrific incident here on tape or on video.
22:45 in the morning on Wednesday, 10/5/2022.
Now, would that right turn on Buckalter there, I'm sorry, left turn onto Buckalter there, would that take you back to 535 Buckalter Road?
Yes, if you followed Buckalter Road, it would take you back there.
One moment, please, John. No further questions, John.
Thank you.
Oh, good. We didn't get to the actual throwing.
Coleman, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Good. Just got a couple of questions. You're more.
Dude. I'm going to try to. What's he going to say here? I mean, the only thing I can think of really that he could say is, well, you didn't see the license plate of that car, did you? So you don't know if it's the same car, do you? That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know how he's going to try to impeach this guy. But I do have to say, a completely irrelevant thing. I thought it would be fun to see what happens if you mix this little product, which is the limited edition Oreo flavored Coke Zero with rum, to make a rum and Oreo flavored Coke Zero. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's entirely undrinkable, and I've just wasted a substantial pour of rum.
More technologically advanced than I am.
I don't know.
Well, I call my daughter in college for computer help. So
I understand.
In terms of collection of cell phone information.
Yes, sir.
My understanding is there's a computer program which you know how to operate.
Yes, sir.
I think your words were you plug it in and let the machine do its thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your job is to be the technical guy who is able to download that stuff, for lack of a more precise term.
Yes, sir.
And then provide it to the detectives for interpretation.
Yes.
Okay. And you used a phrase in terms of the videos that we've been talking about for the last few minutes, out of frame. Tell us what that means, please.
When I say out of frame, I meant out of frame of the physical television.
Okay. So if it's out of frame, anyone who's looking at it, trying to interpret it, can't really see what's going on.
That would be correct.
You said that most of the video, at least that I think I watched, other than the references of where cameras were, the actual video of cars really moving and things was pretty dark.
It is dark in there at night, yes, sir.
And I think
it is dark at night. That's kind of the definition of
12,
night.
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the vehicles that you've seen, at least the ones that I saw, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong, those videos that you were referencing, I didn't see anybody get in a vehicle or get out of them. Is that correct? Okay. So we see cars moving or just parked.
Yes.
And in terms of identifying vehicles, I think you said that there was a picture of the Dodge Journey, and I think it's the FBI.
Yes, in their tech lab. Yes.
Thank you. Didn't want to call it the FBI garage.
It basically is.
What you actually said was that picture was consistent with the vehicle that we have seen some pictures of moving.
I believe it to be.
Okay. Consistent means kind of looks like it, but you can't be absolutely sure it's the same vehicle. Can you?
I told you that's where we're going to go with it. That's the only thing he can get. That's the only thing he's got.
Because it's consistent
in color.
It's consistent with what you saw in the FBI place.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have. Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are a couple of slides on here that I neglected to ask you about because I momentarily thought we had come to the end. Going to slide 32, what structure are we seeing here?
So this is a single wide mobile home. I believe it's, can't remember the lot number. For some reason, 13 is sticking in my head, but I could be wrong on that.
Where is it in reference? Is it at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, sir.
Where is it in relation to the dumpsters?
If I was taking this picture and I turned around 180 degrees, the dumpsters are right there.
Okay, so this picture is taken essentially from the dumpsters.
Yes, sir.
Now, zooming in on that at slide 33, what are we looking at there over the window?
So right above the window is it's a camera, video camera, and it stores. It's not the kind of video camera that has a central storage area. It has what's called an SD card, and I think of it as a little hard drive. Okay, you pull it out, you can put it in a computer, and then watch the video. It doesn't have its own computer with it. It was explained to me by the manager of Azalea Mobile Home Park that they own that camera, but that the man that actually owns the trailer allowed them to keep it there. They were not sure if it worked or not, but obviously because of its proximity, we were very interested in it. We were given permission to take the camera by the property management. We looked at the camera, we took the SD card out. I could use the term corrupted. This camera is not made for outside, and we all live in Savannah. It's humid, it's hot. This is not a ruggedized camera, and we were not able to pull any images or video from this camera at all.
Did you, once you had taken a crack at it, did you give that camera or the SD card in it or both to the FBI?
Yes, sir, I did.
To see whether they could do any more than you were able to do it?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you mentioned it's not designed for outdoor use. Is it an indoor camera?
It's an indoor camera.
And was it something like it had been put up by the manager to deter illegal dumping?
That's what she explained to me.
Okay. Just to be clear, was this something, we watched a bunch of video from like the commercial system at the property management office, right?
Right.
And all those cameras work and everything, barring the timestamp issue. Was this camera a part of or tied into that, commercial system?
No, sir, it was not.
Something totally different.
Yes.
And you guys took it and did what you could with it.
We did what we could with it. Yes, sir.
But you were ultimately not able to recover any footage from it from the night of the 4th?
I was not, no, sir.
Okay. One moment, please. No further questions.
Thank you.
Nothing further. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant, thank you. You may step down and you're excused.
All right, I think they're going to break for lunch here now. Yeah, this was not as exciting or as fun or as humorous as yesterday.
For a break.
Oh, just a break.
12:15. Let's break for lunch.
All right.
Let's come back at 1:15. We'll come back in an hour. I understand that you're having lunch here up in the snack bar area. We'll get started. No.
All right, we don't care when they're having lunch. That's Strawberry. Oh, Strawberry was asleep till I said her name. Sorry, Daggy. And there's Yoda, who's been sleeping peacefully here since just about the time we began. So from them, we'll let them sleep peacefully here while I talk to you guys for just a minute before we shut this down. All right, here we go. Hey guys, how we doing? Thanks for sticking with me for today. It was a rough day today. It wasn't nearly as entertaining as the guy yesterday. But let's look at the like and subscribe poll. Now is your last chance. Now is your last chance to really get a vote here in the like and subscribe poll. Before we shut it down, we're going to shut it down here in about 30 seconds. Today's like and subscribe poll, which is simply designed to make all of you aware that you may or may not have forgotten to do the YouTube-y things and like the video and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, please do me the favor of double checking to make sure you're still subscribed. Please. Thanks. The like and subscribe poll today was, I wasn't expecting a witness to testify to that. And what is that? This is all based on yesterday's testimony. I wasn't expecting a witness to testify to. 17% of you said one kid had crap all up in his hair. 12% of you said you weren't expecting a witness to testify that the dog is a total R-tard. 31% of you said I wasn't expecting the witness to testify that the FBI didn't buy me pizza as promised after 17 hours of interrogation, and I'm still pissed at the FBI 2 years later, and I was so pissed back then that I DoorDashed a pizza to myself. And 40% of you said that you definitely were not expecting a witness to testify that she conducted a seance and communicated with the spirit of the dead child by using a holy Bible and a candle. And the ghost of the baby told her that mommy hurt me and flashed her images of how it happened. All testimony from yesterday. Go back to yesterday's and watch it. It was a weird one. Let's end the poll there. Thank you so much for all of you that participated in the like and subscribe poll today. Here's what's going to be happening over the next couple of days. Right. Roughly, I don't know, somewhere around 10 hours from now. I'm gonna go to sleep very, very soon. Here in Korea, it's 1:30 a.m. I'll wake up and I will go to it. This trial, plus I have had a really, really stressful, I mean, way more stressful than normal 2 weeks at work. And I still have to concentrate on going through a 114-page contract this weekend. So I'm going camping early in the morning. I'm gonna have someone take care of the dogs, just me. I'm going with my tent and the basics of survival, going camping for like 36 hours, just to disconnect from most things and to chill. I'm taking my tent, sleeping bag, few cooking things, my tablet, and booze, cigars, and food. That's it. So, but what I'm going to do is, because during last Sunday's Lego stream, we hit the goal I established. So I owe all of you a good old fashioned eating mukbang, or it's pronounced mukbang in Korea. You probably couldn't tell the difference in the pronunciation, but there was one. Mukbang literally means like eating room. It's just where you eat a bunch of food. And I have what's called jjajangmyeon. It's a Korean noodle dish with a sauce that I call axle grease because it looks like axle grease. It's thick, black, it's sweet. It's with the noodles, but it's this enormous bowl I found. It's about this big. There's got to be like 6 normal portions in it. We'll be doing a mukbang live from the campground. My goal is to start about 10 hours from now, but Logan Paul and Mike Tyson are going to be having a boxing match on YouTube, and that starts about 8.5 hours from now. I'm not going to compete with that. I will go live with my mukbang stream from the campground as soon as the Mike Tyson Jake Paul. So the Mike Tyson Jake Paul boxing match is completed, and I'll just sit and chat with you guys while I eat a ridiculous amount of food, Korean food from the campground, and try not to throw up. So just stand by for the update, stand by for the notification, and check with Twitter and check with YouTube to find out when that's going to start. But whenever Jake Paul, and now look, I know Mike Tyson's old, but he's still Mike freaking Tyson. If that ends any other way than Jake Paul getting completely knocked out and possibly nearly killed, it's a fixed fight. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. So after the boxing match, I will go live with my mukbang and we'll talk for an hour or two. Just me and my tablet, and then I'll chill and in front of the fire and read my stupid 114-page contract. And then Monday we'll be back in action with more of this, with day 5 of this trial, the day 5 afternoon session. Sunday evening my time. I'll go camping Saturday morning. I'll come back Sunday afternoon, and then I'll immediately go to the cigar lounge where I have to handle another barbecue. We'll try not to damage the stash this time. We got a roasted 2 barbecues ago. And well, here you go. Heather Sparrow, Temu challenge from this month's Big Grift stream. We should add that. Yeah, we'll add that to the stream. But speaking of the Temu shopping spree, I am targeting next Friday. Is it next Friday? Yeah, I'm targeting Friday the 22nd for the November F It Friday stream. So keep that in mind on your calendar. I'll have to do some work on that. So that's what's coming up. A few hours from now, we'll be doing the mukbang live from the Korean campground. And then we'll be back on Monday for this, probably F It Friday next Friday. There you go. That's all I've got. Sorry this wasn't so entertaining as yesterday, but this is a very serious trial. And we need to watch this woman get her comeuppance. Like I said, I haven't checked the verdict. I don't know if she's going to be found guilty, but I know she's going to be found guilty. So we need to watch this happen. Mariko True says, thank you, Legal Vices mods in chat. Everyone stay safe and hug your emotional support companions with permission. And Jake Paul. Don't hug Jake Paul. That's it. All right, everybody, I'm going to send you off into the wild. And I just want to give a... good. I thought we hit the second tier goal, which is the punishment shot of terrible whiskey. We missed it by like $22. Good. So I don't have to do the terrible shot of whiskey. Thank you, everybody, for the super generousness of yourselves today with the super chats. I forgot to. Oh, God. I have to redo my math. I forgot the Venmo stuff. No, I didn't. Okay. No, ooh, did I? Shit. 177, 87, 89, 99. Okay, we're good. We missed the second tier by $10. Good. I don't have to do that. Phew. We missed it by $10. I don't have to do the stupid, terrible whiskey shot. Thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you for sticking with us and keeping the chat entertained. Chat, thank you so much for the gifted memberships, the purchase memberships, the super chats, the Venmo, and all that other stuff that happened today. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And I just appreciation to all of you here in chat who just sat and talked to each other. Those of you that are just lurking and not... I don't expect super chats. I don't beg for them, except for the F Friday stream. I'm just glad you're here, you're watching, you're talking to each other, or you're just keeping it on in the background, getting the watch hours up. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support in whatever fashion that comes in. All right, so with that, until the end of the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul boxing match, I want to wish you all a great and wonderful, happy Friday morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is, whatever you're doing. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you later. Take care. Want to make sure I got all the super chats before I say goodbye. I did. Thank you very much. See ya. Late.